Hey, JJ, what you been doing? You said your car broke down. The thing just isn't moving. Day to day, don't you know? When you're down, there's just one way to go. Say la vie. That's just the way it goes. Thanks, life. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, winos, to episode 93. I'm here with the lovely Sarah. Sarah, how are you?
I don't know what you're doing right now.
Did you ever hear that song with Robbie Neville?
Probably not this
Yeah,
version.
it was a big hit in the late 80s. I said something just before we went on to you that reminded me of that song. I don't know what the phrase was. Ah, please tell me you know that song.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Got a job, that's okay, but they got me working night and day. Punching in, punching out. Is this really what life's all about? What you gonna say? What you gonna do? Ooh, I don't know. Oh, you know what it was? I was thinking about Crazy Robin knows the song. Hey, Crazy Robin. Hey, Crazy Robin. Before I get talk about Bill Murray, I've started on the last 7 days, 6 days. What is your opinion on Wellbutrin? I had
Are
that
you
posted
assuming
years ago.
y-
Go ahead, sir.
you're assuming people are on Wellbutrin?
No, no. Crazy Robin knows the landscape. She's in the
Okay.
business. She's in the Wellbutrin business.
Okay.
So I'd like to get her opinion if she can get around. She doesn't have to give me her opinion on it. I know she knows everything there is to know about it. She says, "Oh well, it's a mood stabilizer." I was told it was a quote uptake. What is it? Re-inhibitor or something?
I
Where
don't
it's
know.
supposed to be a mood enhancer of some kind. They
Okay.
say mood stabilizer. It's the cop out. I'm not saying that Crazy Robin's just saying what's clinical.
Mhm.
Every drug they call it a mood stabilizer, and I was talking to my therapist about Wellbutrin, and he goes, um, we talked about the side effects. So every one of these drugs, they list every side effect is the same, and we both at the same time goes, they're in cover their own ass mode. So
Of
you just
course.
list every possible side effect that could happen in that's ever been created, and you've covered your own ass.
So how many days in are you?
Crazy Robin says it's used in many forms. I am 6 days in. It's
Okay.
one little pill, and the reason I bring this up, just before we went on, I'm telling Sarah about this. I go, I'm on this thing called Wellbutrin. I go, I really haven't noticed. It really is kind of no side effects. I mean, you would. I'm like, you. I go, you got great benefits. You should maybe dive into that. She goes, no, no, I'm good, crazy man. I'm good. I don't need
I was like,
Wellbutrin.
I was slightly offended. I was like, I don't think I really need psychiatric drugs.
I just thought because it simply seems to have no side effects.
Okay.
I don't notice a thing.
Good.
Robert Arm is eating Ritalin like candy corn, like Tic Tac Super. Um,
You know, he is shot out of a cannon.
Prozac, I haven't heard Prozac. Is Prozac still around? And Zoloft, Babs DeRush, are they still around? Because it seems
I
antiquated,
think
right? They
Stuttering
don't.
John killed the Prozac market.
There's a movie called Prozac Nation,
Mhm.
which I think is
Because
Christina
everybody was a
Ricci in that.
zombie.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I haven't really seen that in full. I've just seen like a little bit here and there. I was meant to go back and watch it. All psych meds have side effects, says Crazy Robin. Yeah, I haven't noticed them yet, but it was great because Sarah goes, "No, no, no, I'm good. I'm good." After I made the way, no, no, I'm good. I'm good, Crazy man. I'm
See,
good, Crazy man.
many of you are under the impression I am a downer. I'm whatever. Great. If you think that, I can't control that. But this is me 14 hours into my day. So I'm a little tired by this point in the day. So yeah, I'm a little down sometimes. So that's why you advised me to take psychiatric medication. I don't feel I need it.
Yeah, because I mean, you're on a clock that I have don't relate to. I'm actually the opposite of that clock. The
Mhm.
the closest I've ever been to that clock is when we did the trial streaming.
Yeah.
And you're hitting a wall. I mean, I remember I had the contact lens problem. I think one of what I get really like bitter about is how bad my vision is.
Mhm.
And about 6 o'clock, so I get that contact lens glazed over. They start to dry up, and you have to use. So that destroys your second wind for the second part of your day. And that's where I get very bitter about having bad. I can't wear glasses because they have no peripheral vision. I just don't do well with them. It
Well,
just
we've discussed this. You
yeah, we've
need
talked
to
about
rethink how you view your eye
correct
situation.
corrective surgery. I don't know why that's
Well,
not covered.
that you have that option always, but you also need to be thankful that technology allows you to see,
But
and thankful that you're not in the 1800s where you would be, completely useless and stuck in your home all day long. Technology has allowed you to wear glasses and contact lenses so you can live a normal life.
I want to be stuck at 17 Squabble Lane, Robin.
Ugh, have to bring it down to that level. Ugh, talk about
my son's
depressing.
A. Smith writes, my son's mother was on Wellbutrin and then switched to Prozac. It didn't seem to me. Thanks for that optimism. I think it was a general physician. He said that there's a lot of improvements made on today's drugs. It's not like years ago when they had the it's a well it's they're not perfected, but it's close. They
Mhm.
said it's not the same thing as getting it like in the 90s. Arm looks so cute this Halloween suit. Thank you, Barbara Drush. I am Shazam on the right. That's my cousin Anton as Batman on your left. Outright. I think it's like 1979,
Oh,
something like that. And that's the height of like
Shazam.
Shazam
Yeah.
had a live action show on CBS in the morning, and there was very briefly there was a Shazam animated series, and I love that character. I just do. I love the costume. I love the whole concept. Um, Sarah, somebody mentioned Underoos before. Was it Hooper?
Yeah, we need a he wanted me to take a photo of you for some reason in your underoos, and I said and send them. I said I will send them when I'm done with them.
Underoos was huge business in the late '70s. I don't know what the first year they came out, maybe early '80s. And I had everything you think I did. I had Shazam, I had Aquaman, and I had Captain America. And you can I wore them. I wore the Captain America top to school, and so everybody knew it's underwear. And you got like you wearing underwear to school. It's a T-shirt, but somehow it's underwear. So you got like goofed on if you. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't listen. It wouldn't stop me.
You're adorable.
Thank you.
Everyone would agree.
It's, the Captain America shirt now. It's so crazy to me that these characters are so mainstream because it took a long time to get to that point. Or we have
Mhm.
Black Adam has a movie. It's so good. Moon Knight has a fucking animated series. It's gonna be a moon night. Just let me hold you by the firelight. If it don't feel right, you can go
How do
on
you
a moon night.
Can I ask you a question? How do you ever get through a radio gunk without because you don't talk much on radio gunk, so I'm wondering how if you just bottle all this up and wait for your own show and then you just release with your plethora of songs at the end of
It's
the week.
it's a different rhythm. There's more people, so I have to
You can't
learn
just
to
break out
step
into
back.
Broadway.
No, no, it's just a different dynamic. It's very structured with like the
I think you
clips,
should
and
just
so
sing
you
over
can't just go
everyone.
crazy. I think we should have a show where we're not beholden to that format. We just go crazy on the chat, and
It's more of a general name of the channel is more and the website is more of a general, you know, topic based idea than what we do, like the deppening. So we got to throw some dep in there once in a while. You could talk about anything on that show. You don't
on
have
this show,
to. On this show, we're more limited, but we go off topic. But on Radio Gunk, it's more general, and you can talk about whatever. Especially, please don't talk about that show all the time.
I was thinking about an idea where we take Radio Gunk to our Patreon and we go over one massive video. I'm trying to think of what the perfect one would be. Something that wouldn't work on YouTube. I can't. I'm just trying to. I've had so many swirling ideas of what we could do. The stuff that would get blocked on YouTube. I mean, we've done the Pelican Brief. That's not even.
Hmm.
That's going to be on Patreon too. I'm going to enhance the volume 200% and light it up a little more.
Should we do a
And
commentary on that? Because I would love to do a commentary on that.
Another commentary on the. You can't get
Yeah.
enough. I mean, you can't. It's
I don't want to
always.
overstep radio gunk.
No,
But
we would bring in Monique for some other because we have the Patreon, the whole Vimeo thing set up. So it would be some video that would get blocked on YouTube that
mhm.
would work on something salacious that we need to go over, some special event kind of thing.
Yeah. Speaking of Patreon, let's get a plug in.
I was thinking maybe the birthday bash again.
Okay.
That's
Speaking of
all.
Patreon, for us, we have another Patreon episode going up this weekend, probably Sunday.
We're doing Jump Street
Pilot Part 2.
Part 2 with Bon Jovial again, and that's going to round out the pilot. It's a 2-hour. The pilot originally was a 2-hour pilot, and we're going to do a couple interviews he did from the late '80s, to as a pregame kind of thing, which are kind of cute. One is Brian Gumble. I can't. I don't even. Man, when that thing surfaced on YouTube, I was like, wow, how did it? He didn't do a lot of press for that show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, very, very
The
rare.
bare minimum.
He and DeLuise did an interview with Brian Gumble. It's like 8 minutes. I think I don't even know if it's 8 minutes. Might be 5. Anyway, it's a good interview, and it's great to see Depp in that weird environment. Brian Gumble's one of Howard's friends too, by the way. In the Hamptons, he's a Matt Lauer guy, and they all know each other. He's been to Brian Gumble's house. And another interview from Australia. I found the pictures, by the way, of Depp in Australia with that pedophile publicist, Jeff Ballard.
Okay, yeah.
And they're just hanging out in Australia at the beaches and stuff. It's crazy. He's got that, he's got the ninja. Remember Depp used to wear that ninja schmata on his head, the white bandana?
Yes.
He would tie it around. That was the
That's
look
when
of
I
the
fell in
time.
love with him.
He wore it on Jump Street. It's
I
like the
loved
McQuaid brother look.
Yeah. I love him. Loved him then. I wanted
We
to be
love
his
you too,
girlfriend.
Crazy Rob. I was thinking about having Crazy Robin on to sit in with us during. It was a specific episode that I want. Oh no, City. We can do City of Lies now because
Yeah,
that
we
was
can do that.
when we did that originally. It was YouTube,
We have to keep YouTube out of the mix on any
right?
live
So she could sit
that
in
we do.
on City of Lies.
Yeah, even if we do a stream of something and we cut in with fair use, we still would get struck and we would have to go through an appeal process that would take months. And more than likely, since there's a big studio involved, we would lose. So unfortunately for now, we have to run everything through the Patreon.
I think I could possibly get the director on, Brad Furman. I feel like I've seen him do some really obscure interviews on YouTube, and I don't think
Okay.
people look for him all the time. And if I agree to talk about Pistol Pete Maravich, which is supposed to be his next movie, I think we could get him. Who better than us
You
to
would
talk
go
about
crazy.
Depp and Pistol Pete Maravich?
Yeah.
I'm going to cast Depp as his father in the movie.
Speaking of sports, go Blazers. You're doing great. You're going to lose tonight. And that's all I
Hey,
got
you're
to say
having a
about
good
sports.
time. Congratulations on the Browns beating the Bengals on the Halloween. How great was that? The Halloween colors
I
on
love
Monday
it.
night.
I was so happy. I wept. But I don't want to talk about sports. People
I
don't
like
like
the
it.
Bengals though. I like both teams. I do not root against the Bengals, but
I do.
I do like that those I can't wait. Deshaun Watson would have been returned for that game if the original uh
No, we would have come back
verdict
for the
stuck.
Ravens game.
Oh, the one before it?
Mm-hmm.
But still, they still would have made an event out of him playing against it.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, go Browns, go Blazers. Yay, we're done with sports now.
Why, you getting a lot of complaints?
Yeah, already. The problem is I could talk our entire episode. I could talk about sports, and I have to cut myself off.
I was thinking about we should do an occasional NBA
I would
podcast.
love to.
You bring in like Rodney.
I was thinking I'm going to be doing a Tuesday night show, late night. You could join me for a couple. It's like a half hour. I just want to quick whatever, talk about whatever. And we could talk about basketball or whatever.
Yeah, I just don't want it. I mean,
it's going to be live.
Kind of new school, old school. I got some rants.
We can talk about
the
Stuttering
state of-
John, and I'll lead the way on that because you don't want to get involved. But I'll lead the way on that, give my opinions.
It's not that I want to get involved. It's just so redundant. Nobody needs. It's just
I know,
so
but I would like to comment
redundant.
somewhere on it once in a while, and I for a half hour every Tuesday night, whatever.
Crazy Robin goes, I hear you, Hooper, but I refer to the episode, The Conspiracy Theory, that Moen offline an arm and Dennis just riffed. The best episode by far. Well, I like when we don't have to adhere to a format. Sometimes it's fun to just go off the chat and go off into crazy directions. That's why I love the like a cleaning out the computer episode, because you just jump around
Mm-hmm.
and moments and you're not beholden to one thing. It's just good to mix it up.
On this show, my favorite part of this show doing a live is like the first 45 minutes to an hour where we just bullshit. That's so much fun to me.
Yeah, what is it? True Hoops. I love the lunacy, and it cracks me up when the jesters interrupt the queen. Well, it's got a crazy vibe, and it's a lot of there's a lot of goofy energy that goes on. It's never a perfect science if there's like interruptions. Life just doesn't work that way. Marlon Brando will tell you that. I talk, you go, I go, you go.
Mm-hmm.
You get passionate about something, and there's only so much time. Those truncated shows where you have this little window. It's never an exact science. I never understand. When it's such a perfect, seamless decorum, it's kind of boring. So the trade-off is, there's some kind of interruptions once in a while, and it's never a perfect science, especially
Mm-hmm.
if you're not in the same room.
I think especially that. And I'm sorry, everybody. Sorry, we're bullshitting. But I think you have to be careful, especially when everybody's in a different room, how many people you have on.
Yeah,
It's so difficult to not interrupt. Just me and you, I talk over you all the time, and I try not to. But
I'm
I,
I, I'm used to it. I mean, I don't think it sounded exact. That's a conversation. People they jump in, they patch. That's how life is. It's not a perfect. It's like when you watch. I was complaining last week about whisper acting and
mhm,
how it's portrayed in movies and TV. That's not how dialogue goes. It's not. It's not the Marlon Brando argument says he didn't care about cue cards because life is not. You pause and you think and you interrupt, and that's how real life is.
yeah, exactly. All right, you
There's
ready to get started? Get down with your bad self.
welcome Mackie, welcome
Oh,
Affy.
I had a question. Where was it? Mackie.
Did you
Okay.
happen to see Jane's Addiction in Ohio? She's not from Cleveland. She
No,
pretends she's from Cleveland. I used to pretend I was from Pittsburgh, which is even worse.
I am a big Cleveland Browns fan, but I am in Oregon. I should be a fan of the Seahawks, which I like the Seahawks. I like their comeback this year. It's great. They're easy to root
Yeah,
for
they are fun. That
with
is
Geno
Geno Smith.
Smith.
Yeah,
They're
crazy.
my far distant second favorite team. But no, I've never seen Jane's Addiction. I'm not really a huge Jane's Addiction fan.
Jane's Addiction has so many ties to the Viper Room and Perry Farrell and that whole crew.
Well, and Dave
It's
Navarro,
crazy.
like my mid '90s crush was in Jane's Addiction, but I don't really. I'm just
My
not a
favorite
big Perry Farrell fan.
my favorite song in that Perry Farrell thing is a song called Tahitian Moon.
Hmm.
You know how that goes?
I do have that. I have that CD, even though
Yeah,
I'm
I
not a
love that
huge
song.
Perry
It's got
Farrell
such a
fan.
great energy to it. I really, really love that song.
I
I
bought
I, th-
that.
I I thought that should have been in the Aquaman soundtrack.
Yeah. My parents' graduation present to me was a trip to Seattle for a week. And when you're in Seattle, you have to buy music. I don't know why. I feel like I had to. I was 18, you get the vibe going. It's the mid 90s. You have to buy something there when you're there, on
Definitely.
my poor man's budget. So I bought that CD. Yeah, it's a great song though. I might use it
Crazy
for one of our intros.
Crazy Robin went to Catholic school. Like Holly Robinson and episode Sarah, is it 2 or 3 where they go to the she in when 3 or 4 when she goes to the girls Catholic private school
I don't
with
remember. It's very.
nuns.
I want to say 4.
It could be
I don't
4.
think I'm right though.
That's when Depp takes Penhall bowling. That's the B
It's a
story.
weird episode.
Yeah, it's weird. That first season's weird. And they kind of abandoned high school. And we'll talk about it tomorrow with Bon Jovial. Not high school, high school. I'm talking about traditional Americana high school because they go to the girls' school, right? And then they go to the private school with James Brolin, and it's Josh Brolin, and it's like, you know what I mean? Like, got right out of it. I'm going like, I don't know if I dug that quick to abandon the initial. They didn't obviously they go back to it, but I don't like when they get out of that. Um, I'm trying to remember episode title. Oh, my future's so bright, I gotta wear shades.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Josh Brolin episode. Josh Brolin originally, people, was up against Depp for the lead role in Jump Street and got beat out. He, I can't imagine. I think he's too Thanos. Could you imagine Thanos as Tom Hansen?
No, I don't want to. I never would have watched.
Arms a big. I'm not a Jets fan. I don't. I tell you what though, with the Jets,
New
they're
Jersey
very
Jets.
similar to they the New Jersey Jets. I always go into that thing where like at CBS will show you when they played it, there's a Jets, I don't know, a Jets Colts game, and they show you, so it's in New Jersey, which is not New York, it's out, and they'll show you cutaways, interstitials of Central Park and Midtown Manhattan and downtown and Wall Street, and the Jets are playing in New Jersey, and they try to fool like somebody in San Diego to think they play in like Midtown Manhattan. They were supposed to be on the West Side Highway, but they cannot seem to get a stadium in Manhattan at all. They should go back to Queens is where they should go. There's nothing worse than sharing a stadium with your fucking tri-state rival.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sarah, what do you want to do first? You want to do the fucking Amber? What an unnecessary curse that was. It sounded like a Neanderthal.
Can we relive the verdict real quick? You know what I mean by that?
What you have bookmarked?
No, the appeal news.
Yeah. I was gonna read the article.
Okay, do that.
And then okay. So I was gonna. This is from. By the way, Deadline hates Depp.
I know.
There are publications like now Rolling Stones turned on him, and I'm gonna go into that later with Bill Murray. I've gone into it a lot, but I'm just Rolling Stone has turned on him, and they've turned on each other. And I wonder if Thompson were still alive, that would have happened. I don't think so. I think Thompson kept Jan Wenner honest. Try not to be so honest, friend. Crazy Robin, can we get a tacit confirmation about you sitting in on the City of Lies show?
I think she said.
Did she say yes? I didn't. I'm kind of all over the place.
I think she said she would love it.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. And we could promote it as the Crazy Robin show. She knows the advantage she has is she knows that entire area where they shot it. So we're gonna get the vista, and she'll know the roads and where everything. I'm not saying she'll know every effing street. I don't know every effing street in my town, but she'll know most of what's pertinent. I think she knows the biggie stuff pretty well. I absolutely love that movie. It's my very favorite thing he's done in the last say 7 years. And I'd say all the time, we were talking. You ever see these collages from the Deptford Wives on? So it's abroad when it's the crime dramas are never included in their collages, or it's always like Scissorhands, Benny and June, Alice in Wonderland, Jack Sparrow, and just the more kind of Twinkie things. So you always know it's abroad because they always leave out the crime drama biopic heads. So
You're never gonna see Black Mass.
You'll never see
Johnny
Brasco.
Depp.
Yeah, you'll never see Brasco.
And rarely Ed Wood.
You'll never see. Sometimes Ed Wood makes the cut, but you'll never see George Young in Blow. You know what I mean? All the edgy stuff, all the testosterone stuff, you'll never see in their collages. It's always the same. They're so predictable. By the way, how great was the G Canada? Tate on the comments section.
Background: our last video was we talked about the town hall interview with Depp and Beck, interviewed by Steven Van Zandt.
Yeah,
I'm blanking on his name.
Yeah, it's a good Springsteen guitar. Yes.
Yeah, but we that same day posted the uncut version of that, which went crazy for us. Our channel, I think we're up to 12,000 views. And
well, I took the time to screen record it and put it on there, and it's just absolutely a shame nobody gets to hear the full thing. It's not, they did it. It's just kind of they pre-taped it and waited 2 weeks to release it so they can dub in music. It's so weird.
Well,
Go
the
ahead. I'm
thing with
sorry.
that though too, I think somebody linked it somewhere on Twitter, and we got a new group of listeners. I doubt they're going to follow us to our other episodes, but it's very representative of what Twitter is. It's he can do no wrong. I love him. He's got his faults though. That's
Right.
what
You
our
got to
channel
and you
is
got to
about.
own to it. You got to own up to it.
It's not fair to him if you forget, what has brought him to this point. You discuss him in full. He's not an angel. None of us are. But if you want to glance at those
You lose your credibility if you don't admit to some
of
things.
course. But
right?
if any of you want to go glance at those comments, it's kind of shows you what the Twitter feed is for the Deppening. What I see every day as I'm scrolling through Twitter.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of our comedic chatters on our show here, they went in and it's funny. They brought in their sense of humor in
Hooper.
Canada, Hooper, everything, and they got attacked, but they fought right back, and good for them. But I wanted to tell you that video, 12,000 views. You know what we've been paid by YouTube for that video? You ready for this?
Can I guess?
Yes, please do.
7 cents.
You're close.
I'm just trying to figure out how they, what they're.
$1.17.
Oh, that's good. Wow.
I'm paying the electric bill this month. Yay. 12,000 views. Okay.
I'm trying to. I just want to read if I can find G Canada's comments. Okay, where is it? Okay, here it is.
And we all know G Canada. He likes to stir. He's the contrarian. He gives Arm a bad time with his hashtags. It's funny.
Oh, it's great. But it's the best part is one of the Deptford wives reading that and having to read his hashtags and just trying to make sense of it and with his inside jokes. That's the best part. I'm looking for him right here. Where's this back and forth? Come on. Every time you need it's never there when
you
you
need
need
to
it.
be prepared.
Come on, it's a whole. Oh, where is he? And you
There's
were
a lot of comments in that video.
Why did I go to this?
I don't know. Just
now I'm down the.
You all know what. You don't pull it up. It's fine.
Come on.
Everybody knows how he posts.
I know. One last look at this.
You sound like Stuttering John.
Everybody does it when you. That's the problem when you do these live shows, because you're just spinning all these effing plates and you're pulling up links.
Okay, Nancy Martling.
Spinning
plates.
Did Nancy Sirianni said spinning plates?
That was the name of their corporation, Spinning Plates.
This is crazy. I refuse to believe I can't find this. Yeah. I think, okay, you know what? Let me see here. One last look.
Let's see.
He's not on here.
I didn't take it off.
You better not have taken it off.
I don't
Heads
delete
will roll
anything.
like Sleepy Hollow. All right, screw it. We'll go back to this.
Okay, fine, whatever.
Okay, this is from Deadline. Deadline hates that. Specifically, a gentleman named Dominic Patton. He has been on all the court TV, just going out, just taking like passive aggressive shots at him, acting like he's unbiased.
Mm-hmm.
He has got an axe to grind with him. So this article is, you see it right in the thing? I'm not looking at it.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. Johnny Depp appeals erroneous $2 million trial win for the Amber Heard Pirates and Aquaman stars head back to court for more battle defamation case by Dominic Patton, November 3rd. So this is over the Adam Depp won, what is it, Sarah? 10 judgments?
No, he won $10 million and $5 million.
No, I'm talking about the amount of judgments, not the money. I know what the money is.
What are you talking about?
The number of judgments he won, not the money.
He won 3. He had 3 arguments. He won all 3.
And lost 1.
She had 3 arguments. She won 2. So he lost one of her on her side.
And this is because all this is his original lawyer, who did not show up in the trial, went on this rampage on social media,
Mm-hmm.
slipping dirt to various grifters about her, and she got rattled by this, and she sued him for further defamation, countersued that this Adam Waldman was defaming her. His argument that he dropped today, I'll read it.
Okay.
Johnny Depp wants his defamation cake, and he wants to eat it too. This court should reverse the judgment on Miss Heard's counterclaim as to the April 20 Adam Waldman statement, but should otherwise affirm the judgment in Mr. Depp's favor. Declared a filing today by the ex-Pirates Caribbean star in Virginia's Court of Appeal. I'm not going to read the document. It's very self-explanatory. We could just explain it to you. It's not worth reading the official statement. Despite almost sweeping the table earlier this summer in the defamation trial against the Rum Diary co-star and former spouse, Depp is determined to not pay Heard the $2 million that the Virginia jury oddly awarded her in a counterclaim suit. The Aquaman star claimed that Depp was vicariously liable for a trio of damning and defaming statements, and his close pal, ex-lawyer Adam Waldman, gave a UK tabloid, the Daily Mail, calling Heard's allegations of violence and abuse at Depp's often allegedly drunken hand hogwash. Specifically, April 27, 2020 article where Waldman characterization of Heard's account of an alleged domestic violence incident between the high-profile couple on May 21st, 2016 as a hoax found the jury's favor, walking away from the Fairfax County Courthouse on June 1st with the cheers from fans of $10.4 million is what Depp was awarded. In his figurative pocket, and now an accelerating comeback trajectory, Depp and his bi-coastal Brown Rudnick LLP team have made the first formal move in what has been a long-anticipated appeal process from both sides. The judgment in Miss Heard's favor is the loan statement is erroneous. The 44-page appeal filing succinctly says, even if the court were to conclude that Mr. Depp would be held liable for Mr. Waldman's allegedly tortious conduct, the trial court nonetheless erred in denying Mr. Depp's motion for summary judgment and motion to strike because Ms. Heard failed to present evidence to establish one of the required elements of defamation. The document adds specifically, Ms. Heard failed to present evidence that Mr. Waldman acted with actual malice when he made the April 27th statement. Adding to that, the appeal filing from Depp's Ben Chu, Camille Vasquez led legal asserts Ms. Heard presented no evidence at the trial that Mr. Depp was personally involved in directing or making Waldman's statements. Instead, she chose to pursue a more vicarious liability claim against Mr. Depp, contending that he was liable for Mr. Waldman's allegedly defamatory statements simply because Mr. Waldman was his attorney. Kicking all this off almost 4 years ago, Depp sued his ex-wife in March for $50 million over a late Washington Post, blah, 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 headline. In the article, the American said, they're just recapping the whole trial there. Coming up, repeatedly short to get the matter dismissed or moved to another jurisdiction, Heard countersued Depp for $100 million, blah, blah, blah. Presently stuck in a sideshow suit between her insurance companies overpaying her defense and more. A self-declared stateless Heard also proved unsuccessful in her initial attempts to have Virginia verdict overturned and tossed out in what has become a bitter and lurid battle played out on all levels and platforms. Both sides filed their assignments of errors with the court last month. The procedural next step in the appeal process in the Old Dominion. Old Dominion, remember Chris Gatling, Sarah, from
No.
Golden State? He
No.
played, that was his alma mater. And Clarence Weatherspoon, I believe. Clarence Weatherspoon went to Southern Miss. Depp's October 11th 3-point placement and the docket pretty much laid out what is more punctuously presented today. Wow, that is punctilious. What is that word? Everyone see this? I've never now
It's too small. I can't see it.
punctiliously.
Sounds great.
Wow. I got to master that one by the end of the day. And so what we have here is this. Depp wants a clean sweep.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a little bit of an asterisk
Well,
to Depp heads because she won one little thing, and initially it was 10 something million dollars. She won this 2 million, so you're taking that off, and all
well,
told in the end with the
let's
caps that this state has.
let's
It
be
turns
honest about what this was. He swept her on his side, right? He won all 3 counts. He proved, according to the jury, that she acted maliciously. She lied. And she knew she was lying. So done on his side. Let's not pretend this wasn't a compromise verdict for that second count of hers, where
Why?
basically, hold on. Basically, what they're saying is that second count was her friends roughed up the place, made a second call to 911, spilled a little wine. I'm paraphrasing, but this is what it was. Spilled a little wine, and they all worked together to screw him over. Right? That's what that second count was that he lost.
Right.
So the reason that they lost and the reason they were able to compromise on that second one is that second 911 call was never entered into evidence. And there was never really any evidence presented by Depp's team that the friends were in on it. However, if you use common sense, of course they had to have been in on it because you have those police body cam, that footage that shows there was no damage in the hallway when, Josh and Rocky said that there was. If you look at all the evidence in whole, it's very obvious that the friends were in on it too. So this was a compromise verdict because somebody on that jury felt bad for the woman and didn't want to completely nail her to the cross. So they gave him 15 million before they had to move it down due to the statute on limited punitive damages. And then there's like, I'll throw her 2 million. That's what that was. They didn't believe anything she said.
You really ought to hear yourself. You have no idea how much you sound like Liz Cheney right now.
I don't
It's
care.
crazy. It's
But I'm
crazy.
telling you, this is what it was. He has every right to appeal this. Everything he says in his appeal is true. They didn't prove that, really, they didn't prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Waldman was working for as Depp's representative when he made these statements. He was, but she didn't prove it. And there was no proof that he acted in malice. You can't say she lied and acted in malice on her side with Depp's accounts and then say that Waldman was lying when he said she did all this that they already found her, guilty of doing.
Now you're pronouncing malice right. When we were on before, you were pronouncing it malachi, and I had to
I've never
correct you
said
that it was malice.
Malachi
You
in my
did say,
life. I did have a cousin who was named Malachi at birth, and I
uh huh.
didn't know. I've never heard the name Malachi before, so I was like,
I
she
haven't
named her
either.
kid Malachi? What the?
Yeah. Well, you've heard of Mordecai, right? We've all heard of
Yeah, I
Mordecai.
know.
Welcome, Lauren Marie. Always great to have you live. She always comes in. She always comes in a little late, and we're privileged to have you for the full show. Happy to be tuning in this tonight so I can decompress. I've always had an oh, sorry, Lauren. I've had an awful last few days and weeks listening in my headphones. Whatever we could do, Lauren, to give you an endorphin rush of some kind or reuptake inhibitor. It's what we do. I had a whole Wellbutrin. I'm on Wellbutrin now, and we had a whole discussion about mood enhancers.
Can you tell he's shot out of a cannon?
No, I don't. Why am I more? I don't tell me you're thinking I'm that I sound sped up from that
You
shit.
began the show with a Broadway musical.
Because when do I not sing? Because that "C'est La Vie" from Robbie Neville was in my Rudd's Ghost, welcome, welcome, welcome. Three-eyed catfish.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Three-Eyed
sir,
Catfish.
for the
And
$2.
I got to answer this. It's a super chat. The jury never hears the 911 calls, correct? You are very correct. Especially, they never heard the second one.
Yeah.
And that's what
Well,
that count was about, the second call.
but here's the pushback. This is what they're gonna have it thrown out on. Amber Heard's team is saying, well, Depp's saying, hey, this is Depp's saying, I don't control my lawyer. You're I am not liable for this $2
Yeah,
million
but
dollars. I
not to
don't
interrupt
tell
you.
he does whatever the hell he wants. I do not
Technically,
control how he goes on social media.
the genius part of it, Depp wasn't paying him as a lawyer. So he can say he wasn't representing him
Right.
legally.
You could say
That's
that.
probably
Definitely.
why they did that.
We don't know for a fact he wasn't paying him.
Well, he could be paying him under the table. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you don't know that. I think Mark Cuban was paying Dirk Nowitzki under the table when he claimed to be taking the NBA minimum
Mm-hmm.
in the last years of the Maverick, and Tim Duncan with the
Oh,
Spurs.
please.
I think he was getting paid. I think they were walking to Duncan's house with an envelope of cash every month
Mm-hmm.
to make it. There's no way his agent will let him do that. And Nowitzki's, no matter how good a guy you think they are. So Depp's saying, no, I don't control this guy. This guy is a superpower lawyer. I don't tell him where to tweet. He loves me that much, and he wants to go on a rampage and go rogue. That's his call. I'm not telling him what to say. That's not my thing.
Well,
Amber Heard's team is saying, "Oh, bullshit. This trial is everything to you, and there's no way in hell you would let this guy go rogue, and your team wouldn't either." So Chu and Ms. Vasquez would never let Adam Waldman go rogue and go nuts on Twitter to embarrass him. It would look unprofessional, right? That he's
mhm.
part of this think tank in Fairfax, and they'd let him go. And that's Amber Heard. It's a pretty decent battle here, wherever this goes. I don't think this is going to be. I don't know if does the judge just decide this, or do they have to have a trial?
No,
I don't
there's no
even understand.
trial. So
Okay.
unfortunately, we cannot stream the appeal, but everything's going to be done behind closed doors via paperwork. Wow, Lauren Marie, thank you for the super chat, super sticker. And it
Thank you,
is
Lauren.
a smiley face. I guess you can see it, right? Usually
Yeah,
we can't see super stickers.
we're gonna do 21 Jump Street tomorrow, Lauren. You'll enjoy that too.
Oh, that's
With
not
Part 2 with Bon Jovial. You'll enjoy that. I
Ignore
guarantee
me.
it.
Ignore me with the
Well,
super stickers. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay.
welcome, Geena Bobina. Thank you for adding your Bobulians to this one today. The three-eyed catfish. I love that name too, by the way. Can Aquaman control a three-eyed catfish? I believe he can. Correct. The two of you do not control what the other one says. What do you think, chat? Three-eyed catfish thinks that Depp is right. He's saying that he doesn't.
I agree.
He's going rogue. I don't know how you argue that if Depp denies it, what is the judge going to say? No, you do control him. He's like, no,
Exactly.
I don't. No, I don't. Like, I don't.
Exactly.
And
Well,
there was a little asterisk, Sarah, that she won that one claim during the end of it. And
again,
people can't handle it. People can't. It'd be like if the score was 42-0, and you go, you know what? I'll just let the other team score. This is ridiculous. I'll give him a touchdown at the end. It'll be 42-7.
well, I was rewatching as I do the Ricada verdict stream, and the first thing they said once she won that one itsy bitsy part was that's a compromise verdict. I totally agree. They felt they had to throw her a bone.
Well, that's their opinion. Like that's someone's opinion. You don't know what the jury said. We weren't in there. Again, I'm not. I can't state this enough. The bottom line is, right? Everyone's acting like this jury of 7 strangers who know nothing about him and nothing about this case control how they don't. If he lost one of the cases and ended up quote unquote losing because he had to sweep her in all 7. If he lost one of the cases and it ended up that she actually won, he didn't. It would take nothing for her to win that. They don't control. This jury of 7 strangers does not control my proclivities, my predilections, my entertainment dollar. They don't tell me to not see all the stuff I've seen was during when he was defamed. City of Lies and Minamata. And you don't tell me what I consume. I don't need your verdict. I'll see whatever the F I want.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody should think like that. What do you listen? Do you really care what they levied in that? If you're a super fan and you know what you believe in your heart.
Yeah. No, I agree with what you're saying.
Thank you, Rudd's Ghost, and thank you for all your great comments.
Are we saying that right, Ruds?
Rudes.
Okay. Thank you. That's
There's
very
2.
generous of you.
By the way, yeah, and he's great in the comments too. Some of the aftermath comments. When you have like a great chat like this, you don't get a ton of comments because everyone's gotten their piece out here. I'm like, I'm not going to repeat myself twice. There's got to be a way to save this chat. If you took this, like if let's say that we recorded a radio gunk.
There's a way to do it. I can do it. Bon Jovial does it.
Yeah, he does.
You can have the live when you do a rewatch. You have an option of having the chat replay as you're watching it. So you just have to have 2, I think, screens open. Maybe you'd have to talk to Bon Jovial about how he does it.
I want to thank Pell for his pronunciation of that crazy word. So let's say this all together, people.
Jesus.
Pungulus.
I can't. Sorry.
Antetokounmpo.
Agenda
Giannis
gumbo.
Antetokounmpo. Punchilus.
Nope.
Punchilus. Am I saying that right, Pellel? I've never heard the word. I read a lot. I'm a reader. I'm not a music listener.
You're also a music listener.
I am a music listener. And I have never seen that word written in any article, in any book. Color me ignoramus, but I've just never seen it. And I'm sure some people in the chat have, but I've never seen it. And it's look, if you learn anything on this show, is you get a new big $5 word every show. Just
I am agreeing in the chat with Three-Eyed Catfish, who says it was printed by the paper as Adam Waldman statements. Absolutely. And they knew what in reality, did Depp know he was doing it? Probably. But she didn't prove it. And Adam Waldman knew what he was doing when he gave the statements to the media. He knew how to present it to leave Depp kind of out of it. But honestly, if my friend was being persecuted in the media and I knew he didn't do this, would I do the same thing? Absolutely. I would go and swing my axe to
I got
every
an axe
media
you
that
can
would
swing,
listen.
honey. I got an axe that swings, honey. Yeah, but you know what? He had established a reputation for himself as a rogue maniac for years. I mean, this has gone back at least from 2018, where he was spilling stories to stuff. So he had already established himself as a rogue, and I often thought he's on his own shield as well. I never thought, oh, Depp's putting him up to this. That's not. I can't. Because anyone, we know Depp, guys, right? This is what we do here. You really think Depp's sitting in a room going, Adam, you know what you do? I want you go on, you know the fucking umbrella guy. Go
I know.
go on, leak a story about Amber attacking me, in Australia or something. You really see him doing that?
No.
You know how consumed he is. How I don't know how says he sleeps 3 hours a night. I don't. I can't see him ordered the marching orders like Trump at the insurrection. It's not the same thing, right, Liz Cheney? You know that better than anyone does.
I'm not even discussing this with you. I learned my lesson a long time ago. The only thing we fight about is politics.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
You just.
I have had an argument with you over the phone, and I finally had to end it. I was like, okay, I'm done. I can't get through that.
Melvin would
I
like to
can't get
hear
through that
angry
noggin
arm.
made of brick. I can't.
Yeah, Melvin would have loved to hear angry arm during that.
Oh.
I would have been kicked off MSNBC. It was too. The only one was remember when Joe Scarborough cursed? He said the F word during the insurrection
He's
the
so
next day after
hardcore.
I like Joe Scarborough.
Ugh, I used to.
I like Scarbs. All right, so let me take this off, and I'm going to play for you. Do you want
What
to
are you
play
taking
your
off?
video? The article.
No. I was making a sexual joke.
Oh.
And can you post a video,
I
please?
didn't get sex out of that delivery. Am I missing something here? I didn't.
No, but I can turn it around to make it that way.
Yeah. Depp is more concerned about the shipment of rolling tobacco showing up. That's the
I
thing, Abby,
know.
right? Whether it's brown cigarettes or Jeff Beck, or he's got so many things that I don't see him directing his lawyer to some of these stupid grifters that cannot let this go. That think that the crazy thing about these grifters, and you all know who they are. Whether it's legal people, they think that they're somehow influencing the jury with their shows. They really think they're impacting the thing, which is absolutely ridiculous. I don't care who it is. I don't care how many subscribers they have. You're not impacting shit. You didn't turn one juror's head around. You can fucking delude yourself all you want. You didn't do shit.
Well, I think if Aunt Bonnie hadn't drug, and that's who, for the new listeners, that's who we call Elaine, or that's who I call Elaine. Her name is Aunt Bonnie. But had she not mentioned the umbrella guy 30 times,
Yeah, that was the worst thing she ever
it
could.
never would have come
To
up.
gas up his fucking head with that reference, that was the
I
worst thing
know.
she could have done. He cannot drop it. You just want it to go away so they don't know what to do with themselves because they were never fans of his. They're grifters that latched onto the trial and now are fake fans that don't know Ed Wood from Ed Too Tall Jones.
Well, good for him though. I got to say, I stopped subscribing to the channel, but those headlines he puts on his thumbnails still come up in
Oh,
my
it's the worst.
my
Oh, those capital
playlist.
letters. Oh, JD, Three-Eyed Catfish says Johnny Depp is actually too shy or overly friendly, which is where his bodyguards need to curb him sometimes. Such a funny personality. Well, I mean, he has a self-awareness in the sense, Three-Eyed Catfish, that he knows where his bread was buttered, and he's very. I mean, for years I've heard him acknowledge people like us. For me as a guy who saw the astronaut's wife 8 times in Manhattan and what's the name of the damn area of Brooklyn where that damn theater was? Court Street. God,
Syosset,
Forum,
I don't know.
Cobble Hill, Cobble Hill, Cobble Hill, I think. Um,
We get it.
and I saw the ninth. Lauren Marie and I saw the Ninth Gate 8 times, and I saw The Source, which is a fucking movie where he's a cameo appearance about Jack Kerouac and the Beat Poets, and I saw that in the West Village. So he knew these people existed. So he's kind of like going, you're nothing without these fans, and he just keeps that in his head because
Mm-hmm.
his charisma really wins the day, doesn't it? His charisma is so unearthly. It's so massive. He scared the owner of Twitter from testifying, Elon Musk. I
Yeah.
thought about this the other day, Sarah. Depp's charisma is so just off the charts unearthly. He scared Elon Musk from testifying. Elon
Mm-hmm.
Musk is scared of Depp. You guys realize that?
Do you
He's
know,
scared of him.
many people don't know, and I wish I didn't, but Elon Musk literally ran and was hiding from Depp's process servers basically for
Yeah.
2.5 years because he didn't want to be subpoenaed to testify.
2.5 years, right, Sarah? It
Yeah.
was just, and he tried to act like a badass that he was going to do it, and he would drop these little weird things along the way, but he never. James Franco, same thing, but Elon Musk is, to call him whatever you want to call him, the richest man in the world, or he owns Twitter, or whatever. To be scared of Depp is crazy, and he was
Mm-hmm.
terrified of. I think he knew, someone like Elon Musk who is obsessed with getting the pulse of the internet at all times probably just got just inundated with hate. He's like, this is crazy. No matter what, no matter how much money I have, no matter, this guy is unstop. These people are. It's crazy. I can't control the narrative here. This is insane, and it scared the shit out of him. And even given like a video deposition, no pun intended.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Well, same thing with, you mentioned him,
Well,
Franco.
Franco's a different deal
Well, yeah,
because
Franco's on
Elon's
video.
not.
They're both on
Elon thinks.
video with her
Yeah,
in
but
the
Elon
elevator,
thinks he
but
has like a swath of fans that would, in his mind, he thinks he has like gaggles of fans that could equal the Depp heads, and he
thank you,
doesn't.
Sue Monster. Very generous. But I think with Franco, what he and I don't mean to skip around, guys. Sorry, but with Franco, I think he was looking at this like because he was caught up in his own little sex scandal. So I think he was looking at this at the time. Amber Heard was considered the victim, and he was going to go in on his white horse and testify for her, deny everything, of course, lie, and save her, and come out the other side as a semi-hero.
The
And then
thing
the
is, though,
tide
Sarah,
turned.
he was hated already.
I know, but then the tide turned while the trial was going on.
He was a Me Too guy. He had all that sexual
Mhm.
misconduct. Everybody thought he was a creep anyway. So he was pretty much hated as it was. To add the Depp stuff came later. So when you pile that on, he's just reviled. Almost like in a Billy Bob Thornton kind of way. I think I love the notion of Billy Bob Thornton just getting just harassed by Depp fans for the rest of his
Yeah.
life. Because he was a major player in one of Depp's kind of finding out. And like I said, I think Depp is so beloved on these movie sets that he has moles everywhere, and they're telling him
Mhm.
whatever, if it's a PA or just someone's assistant going, "Hey Johnny, Billy Bob's all over Amber during this thing. I don't want to upset you, but I just thought you should know." I think a lot of that happened all along. He definitely knew things. There's no way he would embarrass himself with false allegations if he didn't know all that stuff was true,
Yeah.
especially with Billy Bob, who's a total piece of shit. You talk about that website the Facebook group I want to start for Springsteen, 74-year-olds with soul patches.
Mm-hmm.
Billy Bob Thornton, I've turned his membership down like 5 times. He's trying to get on, and I won't let him on. You were not getting on 74-year-olds with soul patches. Sorry, Billy Bob, you're not getting on.
And Catfish again. I'm skipping around in chat. I apologize. Catfish is mentioning the elevator. If you guys remember in her testimony, they had just played the elevator footage. Camille had played the elevator footage of Amber Heard backing her ass up into James Franco. And then Amber Heard gets on the stand and says, "Oh, he was my neighbor. That's why he was on the elevator." No, he didn't live on the penthouse floor where the elevator was taking you. He didn't even live in the building. But then she also says, "He saw the damage to my face and he touched it and he said, 'Oh, your face.'" That did not happen. We had just watched the video. She can't. This is a woman.
Speaking of the Eastern Columbia building, Sarah,
Yeah.
David sent me a picture. He did a concert on a rooftop, and it's like 3 buildings away from the Eastern Columbia building. And he
Mm-hmm.
took this like superhero rooftop shot of the Eastern Columbia building from where he was.
Why
I
have
don't
I
have it.
not seen
It's on my
this?
phone. It's on my phone.
Why have you not
Show it
sent
next
this
time.
to me for me to weep
I'll forward
over?
it to you. I just got it. I just got it.
I love that building.
We love David.
Of course we do. Oh my God, the third chair.
he did such a good job on the Nightmare on Elm Street watch along on
He'll be
Patreon.
back.
He'll always be back. We got a whole. I kind of want to bring in all the people from the chat at some point. We got to find the right project. We were thinking about Sarah had this idea, Private Resort, which is Depp's like TNA film. It's like a Skinamax movie from
You see his butt.
1985. We were thinking about bringing in like a G Canada for that because it's such a goofy movie with just you don't need knowledge of anything to analyze, even though I'm gonna, but he would be good. We just thought he'd be good for that.
Mm-hmm.
What Crazy Robin writes here, I think Depp needs to stand on his own principle. People, sometimes it's just important to get in the news.
Yes.
Crazy Robin is right. One of the things people forget is that Depp went against many people advising him not to go further with that trial, from Doug Stanhope to various lawyers to people in his just leave it. Like, the theory was that if he just left it alone, it would just go away and be taken over by another.
It didn't.
You know what I mean? Like the big story would chuck that to the back of the line. We would forget about it. There's 1,000 Me Too's that we kind of just don't think about much anymore. You know what I mean? And these guys just
Yeah.
continue to work. So we would his power and hunt was so strong that we would have just forgotten. They would have just gone their separate ways, and we would have just. But neither one of them. And Depp was like, "No, I'm not giving her the benefit. I'm not giving her the satisfaction." And to watch, I think he's more competitive than he'll ever let on. And I'm not saying that he cares about box office, but once Aquaman passed by all the Depp films, I think he's like, "Holy shit!"
Mm-hmm. She
They're
was.
trying to turn it. They're trying to make it look like she's responsible for it.
Well, put it into context too. It's not like she was just saying he hit her. She was saying he would drag her around the room by her hair, punching her in the face with metal rings on his fingers. And I mean, in my opinion, other than murder, that's one step below being accused of being a pedophile.
Yeah.
I would have burned her. I would have stopped at nothing. If that meant I lost my entire fortune and I had to sell sweets or, nail by nail, 2x4 by 2x4, I would have done it gleefully.
I could tell you, I mean, I watched day by day the public opinion turn against him, and it didn't help that he had a lot of bad cinematic decisions, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of horribly lazy artistic choices that didn't. He might have been able to swat some of it away if Pirates 5 like did really well, and Fantastic Beasts 2 did really well, or Alice did. They all bombed comparatively to their budget and the predecessors. So that Warner Brothers and Disney are about money. They're not about integrity, and they're not about anything. They're not about morals, and they just knew those films bombed. They're like, he's lost it. He's lost it. We're gonna dump him. and that's playing hedging our bets. Getting rid of him is the move to make, because these pirates, he doesn't have it anymore. They
Yep.
went by the diminishing box office returns.
Of
That's
course.
all they
That's all
care
they
about.
care. That's all they care about. Thank you, Cindy Clausen, for the super sticker.
Exactly, me too. Can I go to the bottom here? I got it. Thank you, Cindy Clausen. Definitely. Oh, definitely. Depp is an MMA fan. Well, he's friends with God. Who's the? I'm not a MMA aficionado.
I don't know
Who's the
anybody.
big fighter? The Scottish guy.
I don't know.
There's pictures of him and Depp all over the place. He was in Scotland or Ireland. I think he's retired now. I can't. Oh God, I can't believe I can't remember his name.
All I know is Brendan Schaub, who got his bell rung one too many times, and he had to quit.
Has Joel Rich removed his sunglasses to see any of his black eyes?
By the way, I saw a headline. I get headlines at work, and unfortunately I do read them while I'm working. But they broke up. That was today. They announced that today.
Depp and Joel Rich?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing about that. I was thinking about this the other day. It was never confirmed.
I know. No, neither one of them
We're
confirmed it.
completely running wild with that. There is no confirmation. Did they have a booty call? I would hope so. Who could turn down that British accent, right?
You talking about him?
A lawyer with a British accent like that.
I was talking about his British
a raven-haired.
I would take that booty call.
What else was he doing in that hotel for 6 weeks?
He could speak Chinese to me from behind. I wouldn't care.
Do we know did he ever go? Conor McGregor, thank you, Ruds Ghost. Depp and Conor McGregor are
yeah,
best buds.
No, that's probably just celebrities,
Yeah,
gravitate toward one another. There's always a picture.
Course. That's it. Conor McGregor, thank you. I should be more of, if I were young, if I were like in the millennial generation with Texaho, I probably would be a huge MMA fan. But I kind of wasn't directed at my generation. We kind of just missed it. I was more of a wrestling guy.
Mm-hmm.
This John O'Reilly, welcome, sir. New York Post is a story about Depp and Joel Rich. I don't.
Yeah.
Again, it was never confirmed to begin with.
I think it was a TMZ update I saw somewhere.
Lauren Marie goes, she's definitely sitting in on this one. The Ninth Gate is a type of film that you can watch dozens of times and notice each details, different details each time. It's layered and so compelling. Wow, we should do a whole thing with God, why can't I think of the damn director? What am I doing? I'm sorry. I'm having a
Roman Polanski.
I'm having a Roman Polanski. I'm having a Wellbutrin moment. Sorry about that.
Your chemistry is being stirred by the big Wellbutrin spoon. I still can't
we'll go into the whole Polanski, where it's at now, right? He's got to be 83 by this point, 82.
Who cares?
Fresh start painting. Welcome, sir. Conor McGregor. Yes. That's the Wellbutrin moment. I should have gotten that. I should not have blanked on that either. Arm was a King Kong. I was a Bam Bam Bigelow fan. Gunga Din.
I was a Triple H fan.
Much more agile, and he has a great headbutt. And I love his head tattoo. And I love that he's from Bruce Springsteen's town of Asbury Park. I think he's dead. They're all dead now. It's so sad.
I know.
Legend, one who gets
their hearts explode.
What's Three-Eyed Cat? Okay, Legend is one who gets to see his work and fame before he's gone from this life. I am so glad he lived through this. I know it's taken a toll on his life. I'm so glad he's healthy and moving on now. Absolutely. I agreed, Three-Eyed Catfish, but I'm not in love with some of these decisions he's making post-trial. They're very, very posery and kind of not in his bailiwick. We get the Rihanna stories. So silly.
I know.
Chief J Strongbow, says Kyle. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sarah.
I was going to say, Rihanna, that reminded me. I saw a screen capture of what he filmed for her show, and he's not in lingerie, unfortunately.
No, it's a pre-taped kind of thing.
Yeah, it looks like, and I'm guessing, but I'm going to watch it on the 9th when it airs. Maybe we can do a live stream somehow.
Agreed, A. Smith. Elon is such a goddamn rich. He's the real crybaby, right?
Yeah, but what
trash
I
person
was
comes down.
saying, it looks like what they filmed was, you know how models walk out on stage and there's a video playing in the background? It looks like it might be one of those, or like just an introduction video to her lingerie line.
Yeah.
But he's just like he's standing next to a tree and he's got like 2 buttons undone on his shirt, and that's about as sexy as it
The
is.
plunging neckline.
Yeah, which I'd still bury my head in, but you know, he's not in a garter belt.
Thank you, Cindy Lou Who. She goes, Arm, we all know your charisma blows JD's out of the water. I even on my best day, I don't think I could. That would be my biggest fear, is to go against someone like that in a legal situation. His charisma is crazy, Cindy Lou Who. When you could take crime, the guy who's responsible for 90% of the cocaine in America, George Young, and turn him into a sympathetic character and just play, Sweeney Todd, and you're rooting for him. That's charisma that I just don't know anybody could portray. When you could play things, you're not supposed to be rooting for these people, but yet you do. I mean, you can't teach that in any acting school.
Mhm.
Elon is so scared of anyone sassy. Mackie, I love Elon is scared of anyone sassy, says Mackie 504. Where are we here? So now I'm going to play what Sarah found of Amber Heard's testimony. I don't think we're going to get to the Playboy interview again.
We can do it next time.
We're not.
What are you playing? What testimony? The Adam Waldman?
No, your YouTube bookmark.
No, that's just the verdict. That we've already talked about that, so you don't have to worry about it.
Okay, so this is what the whole kerfuffle is over. This is his lawyer. This is his original lawyer, Adam Waldman. He was not in the trial. He represented him in the past. He has all these retainer people. He was at the UK trial, but again, there's no transcript of him in any way, shape, or form. He was involved in a lot of the planning stages. He was banned from the Fairfax trial, and I think eventually banned from the UK trial, right?
Yes, he was. He was banned from representing Depp and being a part of this case because they said he was leaking information on Twitter about the case.
So all this rogue, hellion, renegade things he's doing has gotten him banned twice from these trials. So just by just by reputation, Amber Heard would probably think, "Oh, they're going to go with me on this. This maniac's been doing this for how long?" So this is his testimony. Let's just kind of skip through it.
Yeah, please, because it's all the same line repeated.
He just goes, it's like a lot of this. He goes, yes.
But see,
yes.
this problem, though, it's not Depp's fault. This was a deposition he gave, and Aunt Bonnie decided she thought it helped them, and it really didn't. But yeah, I don't know why they would have chosen to
What we want to do now is
use him as a witness.
Geena Bobina, yes, the word ballywick is another word I want people to look up. It just kind of means your area of expertise. If you get anything from these shows, it's you just learn one or two new vocabulary words you could use in your everyday life. You say, well, crypto nymphosi is your ballywick, is all that is. I don't know why I started. The word came about at the same time somebody said buttress and ballywick, and that sort of alliteration, and I just became. When you get annoyed by a word, that's how you learn it. I gotta know. I'd heard them like that was so unnecessary using those two words, and I learned what they meant. The guy, when somebody knows they're using a word you don't know, they're showing off. Like, you really think when I said ballywick, you really think I expected everyone to know what that meant? I'm showing off, right? Am I just jerking myself off by using that?
Yes.
Dennis Miller does that all the time. People don't know what vainglorious means when you make a
You
dinosaur
are
joke.
the Dennis Miller of East Islip.
No. East. Where'd you get
I don't
East?
even know. I don't
Oh, I
even
know
know.
where you got. I know where you got that from. You are an Opie and Anthony listener, and that's one of Kumia's one of the 15 towns he lived in.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
It's also where Boomer Esiason's from. Here we go.
switch back to the drama that's playing out in a Fairfax County, Virginia courtroom between ex-spouses and actors Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Day 19 of the trial resumed today with Heard's team playing videotape depositions from Johnny Depp's former friend and brother-in-law and the actor's former agent. Let's go back into...
It's the ultimate compliment to an Aquaman fan. The oceans are arm's bailiwick.
Court together now.
Ask some questions.
Thank you.
Yes. February 15th.
2022.
Hey, Liz Cheney.
Let me get into it before you stop it.
February 15th, 10 after 12 in the afternoon, this was recorded. It's 3 months before the trial.
Why are they playing this part?
There's a number of these, so maybe we can just clear it up right from the start. So we have conversation. If you look at the top, conversation, 6 messages, 3 parties, over 209 minutes. And it has this first one, it has a date and a time, and it has a telephone number.
So once again, everyone, this is the guy who's accused of defaming Amber Heard and the reason why Depp lost one of the cases, which prevented it from becoming a clean sweep. This is the guy. He looks like Matt Murdock on Daredevil on Netflix. He was leaking shit to the various grifters on the that latched onto the Depp site to try to make money, and he was leaking stuff to the various legalese people on YouTube, like Amber Heard dirt and stuff. The stuff we already knew from, right, Sarah? I mean, we knew that from the audio from some of the UK stuff, as if they were too lazy to read the UK transcripts.
Yeah, that's very true. Yes. We knew most of this.
I knew most of it anyway.
Some of it, what this trial did for me, it just tied, loose pieces together.
And it brought the Deppening family closer together. I think you,
of course it did.
Lose sight of that.
You're very underrated trial streams.
Crazy Robin goes, he looks like Andy Dick.
He looks very sweet, but he is a mercenary who will assassinate you.
You love a good Gary Delabate joke with the Effie's Vince Carter jersey. Arms vocabulary is to Gary's vinyl collection. I forgot about the Gary's vinyl collection.
That?
I do.
Okay. And then it has some email messages, or text messages. It looks like it starts with Keith Bishop. Do you know who Keith Bishop is?
I do.
And who is he?
Keith Bishop is a publicist who lives in London.
And for what?
Hey, you brought up my kid again, just like in London, like you design.
As I watch this,
publication.
Oh no, he's a publicist. He's an advisor on media.
I see. Did you, at any time, did you or Mr. Depp ever employ Keith Bishop in any kind of public relations role?
Mr. Waldman, I would instruct you not to answer any, I would instruct you not to answer the question to the extent that it would require you to disclose any communications you had with Johnny.
That's Ben Chu, everybody. You know him. He's sitting on Depp's right. He, I did it. I'm very proud of the impression I did of him when we did the, Tracy Jacobs transcript. There's a lot of that over and over again. That same rap.
The gist of this, yeah.
Yeah.
But as I watch this, I am struck by, I'm paying attention to his expression as he's listening to Bonnie. He knows Bonnie's a moron, and she's just not ready to be on this stage. If you get my
well, John O'Reilly will confirm that, and thank you, sir. one of the great things we got out of this trial was the great John O'Reilly providing all this effortless legalese
Yeah,
throughout.
absolutely. Thank
I
you.
learned a ton of stuff. I really feel as if I got my bachelor's through him, the Murray State bachelor's in law. That I don't even know if they had a law program there, but it's just the most famous people are me and John Morant.
I always thought you graduated from
Popeye Jones.
NYU with a degree in film.
John went to school with Adam Sandler,
Oh God, who fingered his
Judd
wife? Sorry, everybody, I'm
Apatow,
crude.
and who is the guy? Mitch Fatel,
Yep.
the guy who hates Fred. I love that. I gotta post that on our Patreon. When he went after Fred, the time bomb, which is kind of getting your revenge on someone. It's like a thing where it's a phrase that's never used, but it's used there. It's like if somebody wronged you at a certain age, you're like, I'm going to get my revenge on that person when they least expect it. So Mitch Fatel went into the Stern shows. Fred is a piece of shit who was a bully when I worked on the show as an intern. It's such a glorious moment.
Thank you, Hooper. Group hug back to you.
Thank you, Hooper. Thank you for all you do, and thank you that you're so great in that Deptford Wive brawl.
The Hooper, the new shipment of my bath water is on its way to you that you requested a couple months
We
ago.
expose Amber as a fraud and keep pounding the nails into the coffin. Thank you, A. Smith. Affy, I learned the lunch menu at the court thanks to John O'Reilly. He knows all the restaurants, the North Virginia, Lower DC restaurants, every last one of them in that area. I love that too, and I know they're legitimate. All my restaurants are legitimate. Oh, I'm more like a Suffolk Community College associates in law. In Selden, Long Island, Sarah, off Nichols Road.
I don't know where
Suffolk
that
Community,
is.
where Sal Governale went.
All right. You should
Yeah,
be
where is
proud.
G Canada? Where is G Canada? Take a bow on his post.
He's still traumatized by that chat in the video.
The best hashtag is hashtag Amber's IQ is higher than arms as an exclamation. You just know they're going, who the fuck is arm?
Yeah.
What is it like?
Like the man that put this
Either
video together for
receiving
you.
or giving.
I would not be able to answer without doing so. So I accept that.
One last thing. Three-eyed catfish. Kentucky. I got peeps in Kentucky. Murray State is awesome. Yeah, catfish. That's actually the Central Time Zone. It was the best NFL viewing experience I've ever had in my life when you didn't have it was crazy, Sarah. They don't have a home team. So they had 5 different Fox and CBS affiliates, and they would get different games on different affiliates. It was like having the NFL ticket. It was crazy. They're not now these days they probably get the Titans, but back then they had no affiliation. So it was like the best. They weren't beholden to any local markets.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. It's Western Kentucky. It's in Central Time Zone. Owensboro, where Depp is from, Owensboro, Kentucky, is the Eastern Time Zone. I think I was 4 hours away from it.
You poor thing.
I really thought it was right there. It was the only thing I could think about. I would go around to people on the campus. Are you from Owensboro? Are you from Owensboro? Are you from Owensboro?
Yeah, I'm Betty Sue's niece. Would you have died?
If I poked around enough, I bet I would have found some affiliation.
Yeah.
Instruction.
Okay, and then Mr. Bishop says, and this is on 1/28/2020, Adam, I can confirm a meeting with the Mail Online for Monday, 17th February at 10 a.m. You see that?
I do.
Mitch Fatel would be a great guest on Radio Gunk, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Mackie 504.
You think
and
he would
Crazy
ever do
Robin.
that?
Maybe. Who's looking for him? Unfortunately, we'd have to go through John to get him.
No, that's never going to happen then.
That might be the way to do it. I don't know. I think we'd get him without it. It would be great to hear his Fred stories uninterrupted.
So did you in fact have a meeting with the Mail Online on 17 February?
I couldn't say sitting here now definitively that we met on Monday, the 17th of February, no. But I see this and it wouldn't surprise me if we had.
And was Mr. Depp with you when you had the meeting?
Sarah, can I ask you an Adam Waldman question real briefly?
Yes.
We know he was hanging around the Fairfax. He was in the area. He was in the general. There were pictures of him at horse races with his kids and family. So he was hanging around. He wasn't in the place, but he was there. He had to be in the hotel with them till 4 or 5 in the morning in the plannings. He was there, but we never saw him once during the actual just even walking in or meeting. Just not once.
True.
And I'm asking you, do you think he was there the entire time?
I don't know.
How did he go to that horse race? Because I follow him and his daughter and son on Instagram and everything, and they're just posting these crazy local pictures of just. I think they went to Six Flags at one point. I think they went to Busch Gardens at one point.
He may have
Like
been.
this guy's having a great time.
I believe Mr. Depp was with me when we had this meeting.
And you were representing Mr. Depp at the time, correct?
I would instruct the witness not to answer
She
that
thought
question.
she thought she was so
based
slick
on
there.
attorney-client privilege.
I accept the instruction.
Yes.
When did you obtain the audio tape that you're referencing in this text?
Welcome, David. We were just talking about you, and thank you so much for that beautiful picture, which I do not have yet, but I will show it next time, of the rooftop of the Eastern Columbia building. In David is in the superhero mode as he did a concert for, who knows this time, Emmett Smith.
Message.
And I would instruct you not to answer the question to the extent it would require you to disclose any communications you had with Mr. Depp, your client.
It would, and so I won't be able to answer the question.
I was really.
What tape did you provide to the Mail online, the Daily Mail?
This is it.
In this, are you asking, forgive me, in this instance relating to this text?
Yes.
My recollection is that I gave a pair of audio tapes, actually, to them. Whether that occurred sequentially or at the same time, I don't remember, but I provided them 2 tapes.
What training have you had in domestic violence?
Oh my God.
Is there any worse human being, chat, than abusing a terrified intern, an unpaid intern? And by the way, that's all changed now because of the Stern Show abusing their interns. That intern law was passed. It's because of them at Sirius. And they could thank Howard for being such a piece of shit, and Fred. Could you imagine Sarah abusing a 19, 20-year-old intern if you're Fred, terrified, doing their best in that way, bullying an intern? Is he not the worst? We deserve another Fred hate show.
I would say
Right,
Amber Heard
guys?
is the worst.
No, that's true. Actually, yeah, the way she did the assistants and stories. I mean, some of those stories are unbelievable. Actually, my favorite story is the Paul Bettany story on the island with his kids, with Jennifer Connelly's kids, and how she went off on them. I can't get enough. I want to know more about that.
Well, she's high.
Yes,
She's high on Adderall and hallucinogens, running around spitting in everybody's face.
I think you should come
Great
out with your
boss.
own drug called Sourall,
Mm.
right?
Sure.
And we could get your personality if we take it for a month straight. Eventually, it all becomes Liz Cheney's. Three-eyed catfish. Yes, Kathleen Zellner, who we never. That's funny. I was thinking that three-eyed catfish. We got robbed of the opportunity to see both Waldman and Zellner perform. Right? We thought that was going to be the trial. We thought these two were going to be going crazy, and he's going to be doing his best Matt Murdock in Hell's Kitchen against the Kingpin, and we never got to see any of that. The Kathleen Zellner thing, we were buzzing with that for a month straight. She was, I don't know how much she advised them, but she never did anything during that. Maybe she was in the advising process, but she was the Making of the Murderer, right? That's the show she was on.
Yeah, I don't know. Part of me thinks she was advising Camille on how to cross-examine. And if she's behind the scenes studying the story and the Amber Heard, Johnny Depp lore, maybe she was giving her some points that she needed to bring up. I don't know.
Exactly, Crazy Robin. Robin was notorious for abusing interns all the way. Many interns have stories about her.
We're like talking about two things at the same time here.
None.
Have you ever represented any clients who have either been accused of domestic violence or had domestic violence committed on them other than Mr. Depp?
No.
And of course, you never saw any, as we would say, element or elements of things that Ms. Heard claimed, right?
This is Benjamin Rottenborn speaking now. It was initially Elaine Bredehoff, as we all know. She somehow tagged out to Rottenborn.
I never saw any element or elements of things she claimed. Do you mean, did I ever see evidence with my own eyes that something she was saying was false?
Yes.
Yes, to some extent I have seen evidence of things that show her statements to be false.
Before we get there,
Ding. Change the subject, Rottenborn.
as best you can recall today, who are the eyewitnesses that you, among the 29 or so that you referred to in the text to Christian Carino, that you believe disprove Ms. Heard's claims of abuse by Johnny Depp?
Okay, good. It's also probably easier to answer by taking a particular incident rather than just thinking of names of
annihilates
people.
them.
So
Who does?
Waldman.
Yeah,
you listen
man.
to what
You
he
know how ready
says-
for this he is?
I know. If you listen to what he says, he breaks it down detail by detail. He gives names. They should have cut him off.
Well, that's the problem with these taped depositions, because it doesn't grab your attention like you would on the stand.
Well, they also handled this the same way they handled the Isaac testimony. She should have never let him go on and on and on like he did, where he described what it was doing to Depp's kids and his family
Yeah.
and how it went out the door and around the world and destroyed his life. But she
That's
just keeps doing it. She just keeps letting him ramble on.
It's a great line, David, about the intern beauty pageant. You mean there's an ethics problem with some show hosting an intern beauty pageant? What was the reason again, Sarah? He wasn't used as a live witness.
They
Was he
didn't-
banned from
no.
the court?
No, they just
Waldman.
decided to use his deposition. They had enough. He would have said the
Wouldn't
exact
you
same
have
thing.
rather? I would
Listen.
rather have seen him live.
I
No,
know. But
I disagree.
listen. Shh. He would have said the exact same thing that he said in the deposition. So they just used that.
Yeah, I just think it's more effective for the jury if he's there live doing his thing.
Yeah,
He
but
knows
both
how
sides
he's-
were guilty of that. I don't know why they did it.
Maybe he had some conflict. I don't know why the fuck his whole life revolves around this. I don't know. I don't understand why he wasn't there live. Because it's just not as effective. It's not. It's very soporific here in these video witnesses. No matter how good the information is, you tend to trail off. And I was so cool. I wanted to transcript them because there was a lot of there was some that I loved in terms of the information, and because they were on video, you just didn't embrace it.
Mm-hmm. Well, no,
maybe this.
Go ahead.
No, I apologize. She had all of her witnesses. None of them wanted to come to court in Virginia. So she had 3 witnesses who said they were there and witnessed him getting angry at certain points and saw the damage he did to the apartment. None of them came. Their depositions were 2 to 3 years old, and she wrecked her case by burning bridges with these people. So anyway, go ahead.
You're right, Geena. He's very adorable. I agree. They were calling him "Where's Waldman" after the Waldo, and Sarah's favorite Billy Crystal monologue at the Oscars. It's been a crazy year. I spent most of my year looking for Waldo.
Oh my God.
You remember Crystal did that at the?
No.
This is a good illustration that is a helpful answer. On May 21st, 2016, and I always view this as one of her central claims. It was the one she put on the cover of People magazine. It's the one she led with when she went to get her temporary restraining order.
Speaking of Saturday Night Live, Crazy Robin, that's a great one. Amber's attorneys were in some kind of degree just not ready for prime time. Couldn't have said it better. Truly, right, Sarah? They're just not. Just the stage is too big. Agreed, right, Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
Phone to the face incident. on May 21st, 2016. That's her claim, and that she was further beaten by some appendage of Mr. Depp in the face, and her hair was pulled. And she showed up on the 27th in court with a lot of bruises on her face. So there are two.
Rude's ghost is so right here, Sarah. I mean,
Okay.
if you huff one more time,
I'm telling you, let it
Dariana
play a
Huffington.
little longer,
you
and
gotta
then we'll
acknowledge
catch up
this.
on
I
the
love
chat.
this. No, I love this comment. Rottenborn, wouldn't you change your name? It's like an actor, right? Someone who tries to de-Jew themselves, where their name is just not snappy and it wouldn't work for their agent and selling themselves. As a lawyer, the optics of the name Rottenborn, saying it phonetically, would turn off anybody. He's absolutely right. Why would you not change your name? I understand, like, you're proud of your name, but that's in that setting, that's crazy. Rude's ghost, you're absolutely right.
Two police officers, one domestic violence trained female police officer, who've testified over and over and over that there was no damage to the penthouse, which Ms. Heard claimed was destroyed. That's a direct quote, destroyed. There are, what I can think of, 9 other witnesses, the majority of whom are either neutral or actually, well, Ms. Heard's own witnesses, who have testified in various forums, various times, that there were no injuries to her face whatsoever between the 21st and the 27th, when suddenly there were bruises.
Who are those 9?
Let's see. Laura Divinier.
Forgot about her.
Melanie Inglesi, Amber's own primary makeup artist. Laura Divinier was Ms. Heard's assistant and decorator, and now works for Elon Musk. Hilda Vargas.
I wonder if she still works for him.
I don't know. I last thing I heard was she retired. Probably this whole thing just she thought it just wasn't
it's
worth
too
it.
overwhelming for a civilian. You kidding me?
Well, apparently, the way that Heard treated her at the very end, I think she was done with all of them.
David says here, the video testimonies do feel like online sexual harassment training for a new job where you just check out. That's such a great analogy. That's such a great comparison. That's so true.
Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard's at the time housekeeper. Samantha McMillan, who was Ms. Heard and Mr. Depp's stylist, and a good friend of Ms. Heard. Isaac Baruch, Ms. Heard's and Mr. Depp's friend, close friend, and Ms. Heard's neighbor in the penthouses. Okay, so continuing on, the witnesses, a list of some witnesses to the 21st, to her claims of violence and damage to the apartment.
Battle axe right to the between the eyes.
Trinity Esparza, who was the head of the concierge desk at the Eastern Columbia building, and a friend of Ms. Heard's also. Cornelius Harrell, who I think also worked for the concierge desk, or in any event worked for the Eastern Columbia building.
Not enough Corneliuses in the world, Sarah, right? Would you not agree? We need a few more Corneliuses.
I would not agree.
Planet of the Apes is like the last time you heard of it. John O'Reilly, great. Parties had a broad agreement to use video depositions to save time and money. Remember, this judge had a strict timeline and limit. Thank you, John. You're absolutely right. I forgot about the planning stages of how they would, but I still would have loved to have seen him live. I would have compromised somebody else to have put him on the stand, because he just knows everything. I would have traded him for who, Sarah? Who would you do? Who would you need to see live? We'll give it some thought. We'll play on.
Building, and met with Ms. Heard on the 22nd of May, which meeting was captured on CCTV also. Alejandro Romero, who I believe is head of security at the Eastern Columbia building. And I think Brandon Patterson also testified about the absence of bruises And I should even distinguish, because we're talking about the notion of a hoax, I should distinguish these people specifically have given testimony that Ms. Heard was uninjured between the 21st of May up into perhaps the 25th or 26th of May. And then, of course, she appeared bruised again on the 27th. Some of them have testified that even after the 27th, they were with her and she appeared and that she appeared bruised. But during that period between the 21st and the 27th, I'm not sure if I've listed 9 plus the 2 police officers, but I think that's an illustration of what I was referring to when I in the question you asked me about.
Can you please pull up the document labeled ARW 660, please? Sorry.
Sarah, ballpark it for me. How much money do you think Adam Waldman's made off Depp in his life?
I don't know. More than I'm ever going to make.
I'm going to go with, and all the time, I'm going to go with $5 million. What do you think about that? Is what NA writes, is Waldman filming an episode of Undercover Boss after those thick spy glasses? I like that show. I don't watch it a lot, but I do like the concept of that show. If it's real, I don't know if it's set up or not.
But you do believe that the pictures and videos Marilyn Manson sent you helped disprove Ms. Heard's allegations, correct?
Oh, God.
As to that incident, Thanksgiving, perhaps 2013, I think those videos and photographs, yes, demolished her claim.
Have you communicated with other social media users about this case other than public messaging platforms? Let me ask that differently. Have you communicated privately with?
This is everything right here. This is where they're going. This is what the claim's all about. This.
Other social media users about this case?
This is him leaking stuff to grifters.
Other social media, I want to make sure I'm precise. Other social media users?
Yes.
That group would include.
All right, we need to hit a break, so we're going to hit the pause button. You won't miss disprove.
Everybody on Earth.
Anyway, let's go back.
Have
everybody
in now, where we pause the video.
Almost everybody on Earth.
Have you provided information about this case to other social media personalities who then post that information?
I've provided information episodically to what I would call internet journalists, and I'll define that as journalists who are not affiliated with, you mentioned, I think, NBC a moment ago, or a mainstream media outlet.
Have you communicated with a social media user who goes by the name That Umbrella Guy?
I've had several phone calls with the person who goes by the name That Umbrella Guy. I don't actually know his real name.
Have you communicated?
What's his real name, Sarah? The Amber Heard
I don't
side.
remember.
It's got it. I forget it. Something Lewis, Jeffrey Lewis, or something like that.
No, I think.
Yeah, it is. It's Lewis. It's Matthew Lewis.
Okay.
Something like that. So could you imagine having this guy graces you with his presence and you won't reveal your real name to him? Come on. He could find out whatever he wants. It's like, get over yourself. He thinks he's like the Question or a real superhero. I'm not going to give you my secret identity. Get over yourself, motherfucker. Give him your real name. That's great. So right here, he's admitting that this is what this is all about. By the way, is that true? Tom Cruise's real name is Tom Maypoth. That's shit. That's right. And you're gonna say gay pother.
No, he has a severe learning disability too that Scientology took advantage of.
I didn't know that. I didn't know Scientology took it. What's the learning disability?
At one time, he could barely read. I don't know what the update is on that.
You sure can't read a script, right? Am I right?
He's making plenty of money for not being able to read a script.
Communicated with him other than through phone calls?
I don't remember doing so, no.
What are other?
Although I should say, he's protected. He doesn't want to blow up Matthew Lewis's spot by saying his real name. So he knows his name. How stupid am I? Of course he knows his name. He just doesn't want to reveal it here. He's just pretending he doesn't know it.
Maybe he
By the
doesn't know it.
David says, my friend mentioned to me last night the Eastern Columbia building does open houses occasionally. So I'll keep my pulse on that. Thank you, David. I would love if you can do it, we would completely love it and embrace it. And
I would do it, but is it the same thing as that they do in New York, where you have to show proof of your income status to be able to attend this open house? That means I couldn't do it.
And Monique went, and she didn't have to provide anything
Hmm.
to Howard's building and the Millennium Towers. So I think he could do it. David looks so like he's so you just trust the guy on the visual. Wouldn't you show David the Eastern Columbia building?
Sure.
If he walks in with an orchestra, who would not let him in?
David, see if you can get into Penthouse 3. I need like a sample from a surface. Like take a DNA sample.
From the I want to go to the mail. She had remember her in the mail room with the packages every day. Just
No, David, go into the bathroom up off the master bathroom, and that's the shower he would use. So I want you to swab the drain for me and bring it back in a plastic bag.
You just gotta bring it to the gutter, don't you, Liz Cheney?
That's not the gutter. His shower drain is something very beautiful.
He does look like he's in Mad Men, David. You're absolutely right. They could do this in black and white. That would be funny if you submitted your deposition in black and white. Do like an Ed Wood dead man thing for artistic effect.
Have you communicated in a similar fashion with someone on social media who goes by the name That Brian fella?
Yes.
Now pause.
This guy.
That guy should be the one getting all the credit.
He
Because
started,
he started this whole thing with that's who the audio was initially posted by. Was that
Incredibly
Brian Fella or
average.
Incredibly Average?
By the way, he has a full Amber Heard testimony from 2018, which we will go over at some point. We cherry pick our favorite moments. The whole thing is kind of silly. There's a lot of pausing. There's a lot of dead spots. We're going to have to cherry pick what the best parts is and throw it together.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree?
Agree.
Do you agree, Miss Sarah?
You want me to kick you?
You're fucking intimidating.
I'm going to march across the country right now. I'll be there in about 25 days, and I'm going to kick you as soon as I see you.
Speaking of intimidating, where's that crazy cartoon catstronaut?
Oh, she was crying a minute ago.
I think I heard it in the background. Does she just want your attention, or? I'll say it again. Yes. That cat. I'm not into cats, but yes, that is one cute cat. That is
then
one.
You're into cats.
She really this particular cat. She really stands out. She's a cartoon cat, very charismatic cat, I should say.
What about someone who goes by the name The Real Laura B?
Yeah, I can't stand she goes.
And have you communicated to those individuals listed evidence that you believe suggests that Miss Heard's allegations are hoaxes?
I would say I communicate with the internet journalists because we put them in a category calling them that. I've done that. Exactly the same way I would communicate with mainstream media. If they have questions about evidence or the fact.
You see, Adam Waldman's got a good point here. And we're talking about, we had this thing, what was it Sarah was bringing up about JJ Redick. JJ Redick has gone off on his ESPN employer of having an extreme bias towards Laker propaganda, showing way too much Laker stories they don't deserve. No matter what their record is, every effing sports show covers the land. I've heard this bias since the 80s with the Bird and Magic, Celtics versus Lakers stuff. Way too much Lakers. No matter what their record is, they get too much goddamn attention. And that's the problem with the NBA is there's this insane bias towards these certain franchises they can't handle. And so JJ Redick was like, well, there's a new media in town. You don't have to go to ESPN for this. There's great sports podcasts, and that's what Waldman's saying.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new media. You don't have to get your stories from what you were told to get your stories from the last 30 years.
I completely agree with that. I think the best thing that could have happened to the news was YouTube and sometimes Twitter, because you at least get
keeping
to
them honest.
hear. Well, I mean, I feel sorry for anybody who only relies on MSNBC, CNN, Fox for their news.
Right.
Everybody has an agenda. They're going to cherry pick stories now. I'm saddened. This is something that truly saddens me, that the news is so agenda driven now. I remember sitting with my grandparents watching CNN, and you'd hear both sides. They would just straight face, give you the news of the day and move on to the next, the next thing. It is so dirty now. You can't trust, and I'm so sick of the term fake news. Please shut up. But that's what it is.
I agree. I mean, but we all tend to follow our own echo chamber, and I'm as guilty as anybody. So I'm more to the left than Steve Carlton and Kenny Anderson and Oliver Queen. So I'm watching what I want to hear that agrees with me.
But you have
And
to
I
be
at
able to
least
open
I
up your
admit it. At
mind.
least I admit it. I'm not watching Fox News if you think that's where I'm going.
I'm
So
not
that's
telling.
out.
I listen. I'm
That's
not even
out.
going to
That's
talk about
worse.
this with you. Okay.
No, I'm telling you, I'm admitting, at least I have the balls to admit I'm watching my own echo chamber.
And I listed Fox News and one of the ones that are agenda driven. So please don't tell me this is MSNBC versus Fox.
I'm being honest. I'm not starting an argument. I'm being honest. I'm telling you, I watch my own echo chamber. I
I
know
know
what my
you
truth is.
do.
Yeah.
But if everybody on this planet was a moderate, liberal, moderate, conservative, I don't care. We would all be a much saner society.
Like you.
Yes.
So you're telling everyone to be like you.
If you can't recognize there are faults on both sides
I
are almost
absolutely
evil,
do. I
I have
always
nothing
acknowledge
more I can talk
I
to you
always
about.
acknowledge it, but I'm admitting, and the way this started was, if you have the middle ground gumption to go to other news sources to get your unbiased news, then that's a phenomenal ability you have. Most
Thank
people
you.
don't. Thank you. What?
Because I do that.
Oh, okay, I'm a compliment. You know why? Because you always do the right thing.
I know that.
I'll inform them.
And have you, when you
Geena Bobina wants to know if you're following that lawsuit going on, Sarah.
You're following that lawsuit. What lawsuit? Sorry, there are so many right now.
There's a lot of big trials that are going on. I wonder which lawsuits. Waldman didn't have to ask. She didn't ask for his name. Protecting your source since Waldman. Yeah, that's right. Three-eyed.
I just got done
Protecting.
watching witness statements for the Parkland shooting and sobbing my eyes out. So that was the last one I followed.
Yeah, you're all over that. That was crazy. That closing.
Oh, no, she's saying the Scientology lawsuit. No, I haven't.
Oh, that's the dude from that '70s show.
Yeah. The Danny Masterson. I haven't paid attention like I should.
I wish
Busy.
that's not televised, huh? Why is that not televised?
I don't know. Not every trial is televised.
It
Dear.
should be. I'm sick of the federal law. It's against the law. Gave him. Well, he doesn't know how to read. He just does his own stunts just fine. Cruz doing his own stunts.
communicate with them, do you do so? You testified some by phone, correct?
Yes.
Do you do so by text or messenger platform?
Largely, I think by phone, but if I
Yeah, aren't we internet journalists, Sarah? John O'Reilly asks.
That's exactly what we are. And guess what? I don't get paid.
I'm a journalist like
Guys are very generous.
Shuley's a journalist for Howard 101.
Can I just say something real quick? I was listening to, because I'm so desperate for content at work, I listen to the Rico show once in a while. He was talking about how his big job when he went to Sirius was he had to tell the news, Howard News, back in the early days, about all the Whack Pack characters, and he's acting like he was saving the planet. Like he was
it's the
talking
lowest
himself up
form
like
of.
he's a hero.
It's the lowest form. He's an air whore. It's his only way to get on the air is to attach himself to these hopefully, you know how underdog lady, well, Howard could never actually get her on the show, so he would try to. It's
Yeah.
the ultimate
I felt
form
so
of,
bad for that
yeah,
woman.
he would try to like side up to them, and Wendy the retard. It's the lowest form of bully. It's kind of like passive aggressive bullying in a way, and then promising. And I'm sure he'd try to qualify it or rationalize it as like, so I'm doing them. They love the attention and they want to. Bullshit. You're an air whore. The only thing you ever want to do is kiss Howard's ass and get on the air. You're not worried about your family and Queens and COVID. You just didn't get enough airtime, and that's why you moved to Alabama, because you're an air whore.
Yeah. All
Him
right.
doing
Enough
the
of him.
Jonathan. Fuck him. Fuck
I know.
Shuli.
Enough of him. I never should have brought it up, but that's what struck me about.
Communicated in writing, it would be probably by signal.
Can you please pull up the exhibits ALH 17001 to 2, please?
Showing on the screen, exhibit 24.
Look at Crazy Robin, Sarah, doing a Tracy Morgan impression. Sarah, you gonna get pregnant?
I think it's a little late for that in my life.
Preggers. How did that start with?
Even
Preggers?
Johnny Depp's super baby stuff couldn't work its magic.
Have it all the boner medication Depp needs, right? Cialis. What did? Oh God, I was looking at something. I saw something before. Oh God, I think it was Geena Bobina had something, a question that I wanted to. Fuck, I forget. I lost it.
Well, my first question is that.
One last thing, John O'Reilly writes, I want to see the window where Depp's phone went flying out of. Yeah. Where do we suppose that? Is it under the clock, Sarah, where the pool is? One of the windows on the right
No, it's
side.
on their penthouse was on the other side, so it would have landed the opposite of the pool on the other street, like across from that building that looks like a theater.
Yeah. And it was Starling Jenkins that recovered the phone.
Yeah.
I mean, Rob.
He had to trek down to oh God, Skid Row, in his words, to get the phone
Yeah,
back.
that's
Tent
right.
City.
But
Tent
it
City
literally
number
is Skid Row,
45
though.
yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's the real term. That's the real area. It's
Tent
not just
City number 45 in downtown Los Angeles. So sad.
In that box where it says first on the record statement from me regarding the body cam to RTL, Adam Waldman, Johnny Depp's attorney, is that a statement that you made to a German media outlet called RTL?
Yes.
And in that statement, you say that LAPD have now opened up a criminal investigation into perjury of Ms. Heard, correct?
Yes.
Did you make a correction to RTL when you learned that the LAPD wasn't in fact investigating Ms. Heard for perjury?
Well, the way you've characterized it is not exactly what I would agree with. The LAPD told me that they were investigating the perjury claim at that time. Then sequentially came the statement. Then came notification from the LAPD that it was actually the LA Sheriff's Department that was investigating it, and that was the last I heard about it.
And who notified you from the LAPD that it was allegedly the Sheriff's Department who was investigating it?
The same desk officer at Foothill. And when I say he's the desk officer, I don't know if that's not necessarily the job title.
How did you find his, do you have his contact information?
I don't think I do. I don't know, but I don't, well.
John O'Reilly's commenting on exactly this, and this goes on throughout, even though he has some good things to say, but John O'Reilly's got a great point here. This guy's killing Depp here by not giving definitive answers. There's a frame of mind. There is a pushback that might say that he really comes across as someone who has something to hide. And it sounds like a lot of his answers back that he's hiding something. And that could come off to the jury as if he is. And that's not good optics. Yeah. Despite what you might think he's, quote, killing it, as it were. if you hear what you want to hear through this, especially in the video depositions. But it does it. He comes off as if he has something to hide very often throughout this. It's not good optics.
Well, I think one of a good oh God, lack of a term here. I'm having an allergy attack, so bear with me. But a good strategy for them, and I think it worked, was they bored them so much with the Benchu interruptions
Yeah.
that when he finally started spitting facts about all these people that witnessed her lies and she was being investigated for perjury, that must have perked up the jury a little bit at least.
Yeah.
So maybe it woke them up and they paid extra special attention to that part.
I don't know if that's a particular strategy they had in
But
this.
it
I'd
worked.
love to know. Yeah, I would love to
That
know.
may be why they didn't object or didn't request that all the stuff get cut out
A. Smith's
when
right.
they were
Most
editing
BS.
the depositions.
A really good bullshit artist, A. Smith writes, can really double talk you into oblivion. And that's right. We all know that, or just a great serial liar. Where he just lies unnecessarily, that your whole life is a lie and you have practice lying on command. We all have those people in our life that just have zero credibility and are really the masters of double talk.
I'm not sure.
And I'm sorry if I asked you this.
Fake laugh.
How did you come into contact with this desk officer?
I brought a binder of information, including.
There's a great documentary, Crazy Robin, called Outfoxed, and it shows you when Roger Ailes was in charge, about the behind the scenes stuff and all the they fire people if they don't have a certain, and MSNBC does a little of this too, but Fox is the worst. And it's called Outfox. It's a great documentary where they have people who used to work at Fox tell us what goes on with Roger Ailes.
The statements that had been made, and the evidence showing that those statements were false.
In your view? So you took a binder to the LAPD and spoke to this desk officer?
Correct.
Yes.
And was that the only time that you spoke to this person?
The 2 times.
Thank you, A. Smith.
Were they both in person?
Oh, maybe it's 2 or 3 times. No, 2 times we're on the phone.
Was the first meeting in person when you brought this binder?
No, the first was on the telephone.
So the investigation was opened up at your request after you brought this binder
Thank you,
to
Kylo
the desk
and
officer?
Epi.
Is that
No,
right?
I didn't ask him to open an investigation. I filed a claim with the LAPD regarding these perjurious statements that Ms. Heard and her best friend Rocky Pennington had made to a court.
A little gaggle of grifters.
Was that claim that you filed in writing?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you know whether that claim was produced as part of your document production in this case? Because I certainly haven't seen it.
I don't know that I ever received a copy of it. It was filed in writing with the LAPD. But I don't recall that I ever received a copy of it.
Did you draft it?
No.
So you were talking to the desk officer and he was taking down notes, and is that the writing you're referring to?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you ever see this alleged written claim?
Yes.
Did you sign it?
I don't recall if I did.
Did you ever speak to anyone other than your client about this alleged perjury investigation?
Thank you, Geena. I love
other than
Angry
your client
Orange,
and the
too.
desk officer?
Well, I think this quote that you've shown me to the media would constitute speaking about it.
Did you ever hear anything more about this perjury investigation, to the extent it existed, from any other third party who claimed that they had spoken to anyone in LAPD or the LA Sheriff's Office?
No, I don't think so.
Mr. Waldman, do you have a professional license?
I do.
Do you have your own law firm?
I do.
What is the name of your law firm?
Endeavor Law Firm.
When was Endeavor Law Firm formed?
I think it was in 2005.
And who was it who formed your law firm?
It was I who did it.
And who owns your law firm?
I do.
What is your title at the Endeavor Law Firm?
Crazy Robin writes, Depp sperm comes out and you can see his face on the head.
Oh my god.
With a patch. Crazy Robin, do you believe in the crack baby theory? When you are from a drug-using parents, that it spawns bad kids that are not irredeemable, but
How is that a theory? Shouldn't that be a fact by now?
I don't know if it, it's hard to prove
It's got to mess with
exactly.
your brain chemistry.
I would think. So shouldn't Lily Rose and Jack be affected?
Was the mother on crack?
No, I'm MDMA and heroin and all sorts of cocaine, and doesn't that get into the blood? Wouldn't that be part of the package?
I think it's more if the mother is addicted
It's
to
the
the
mom.
drugs.
Are you sure it's the mom?
I'm not a biologist or a scientist, but that's got to affect the kid more than the father being a drug addict once.
But you are a great filmmaker and a great
Uh-huh.
mom to one great catastronaut named
Oh my
Camilla.
god.
I do believe somewhat in the crack baby theory, which just there's no which we
Somewhat.
had a theory about the guy from Nicholas Cruz from the Parkland thing just now.
Of course.
Yeah.
Managing member, I believe.
And it's none of our business who your clients are, but does the Endeavor Law Firm have other clients other than Mr. Depp?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does Johnny Depp issue you a Form W-2?
I don't think so, no.
Do you receive legal training from Johnny
Dave Lewis,
Depp or any of your other clients?
I suppose the practice of law in general is legal training, but if I understand your question correctly, no.
Fair point. Have you ever listed Johnny Depp as your employer on any filings with the IRS?
No.
But you offer legal services to clients, correct?
Yes.
All right, I'll say, do you offer legal services to the general public?
Probably not to the general public, but I offer legal services. I think that's your question.
Adam Waldman, you've done it again. We're the general public. I want his services. I want his services. Is that too much to ask, Sarah? David's mom worked at the Goodman Theater in Chicago.
Yeah, our super chats are not going to be able to afford Adam Waldman for your next legal case. I'm sorry.
I saw on Twitter Geena Bobina's friend, Popcorn Planet, begging to get funded to go to Las Vegas.
You think he can't
to
afford it?
watch Depp and a Jeff Beck show at Depp. Is he really think that's gonna? Does he have the audacity to ask for that
Yes.
with that operation? Is that not crazy? Is that not the audacity of all audacity to
Well,
beg for money to go to Las Vegas,
the only
which is
thing I
actually a
can
very cheap flight and hotel?
the only thing I can say is good for him because they do increase the super chats. So people
Davi-
fund him. He gets it.
David's mom. You don't know. Well, yeah, I guess it's
I do know. I
that's
watch
crazy. But could you imagine though donating to that?
I
But you know
watch
that
the
he's
constant alerts go off while he's talking about all these massive chats coming in. So I do know that he does that.
don't all the cool kids say dono now? Is that
I don't know.
my mom worked at the Goodman Theater, says David, in Chicago when she was pregnant with me. And the woman who played Molly Ringwald's mom in 16 Candles commented on how she was, quote, preggers, my first celebrity run-in. Damn. Preggers. It's such a, I don't, it seems sarcastic too when you say it.
It's one of those cringe words
Preggers.
for me.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh.
Okay, the next thing we're going to do here is very controversial, and it deals with the beloved Bill Murray. You talk about a guy who is just Teflon from everything, almost literal superpowers of in-depth class of charisma, walking higher off the ground, laughing to his own drummer. He has now been just piled on by run-ins and weird sexual misconducts and crazy behavior that I believe was precipitated by his influence from one Hunter S. Thompson.
Don't you, though, before we start this, don't you have a big Bill Murray announcement?
Wait a minute.
You do. I'll say it if you don't want to.
Oh, you say it. Yeah, I'm blanking on what the hell you're doing.
Okay. This is so unbelievable. For the very first time in your life, you watched Ghostbusters last weekend.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's kind of overrated. I thought it was mediocre.
Oh my
Wasn't
God.
as funny as I'd
You
heard.
are.
It was okay. It wasn't this iconic thing. I chuckled a few times. It was kind of well done for the ear. The special effects were a little antiquated, but good for the time. I loved seeing early 80s New York City during it, but it's slightly overrated. It was
Oh,
okay.
how
Wasn't
dare you, sir?
we have a tendency to, go a little nuts with nostalgia over these things.
Log off now.
It was okay. I give it a B. Wasn't the masterpiece everybody makes comedic masterpiece everybody makes it out
You're
to be.
hurting my soul.
Did you cackle at any point during that? Where was
I
that?
love that movie. I know every
Okay,
line from that movie.
okay, but what's your favorite moment?
I laughed through the whole thing. I love the beginning, the first interaction with the librarian ghost. I
Yeah,
love that. I love the insinuation, and this is one of 1,000 things. But Rick Moranis playing the Keymaster.
that
That's
was great.
hilarious.
That was very funny. That weird that he was like what was his occupation? He was a God damn it, I forget what his
He's
job
like
was.
a salesman. He's an accountant
And he was hitting on Sigourney Weaver and trying everything he could throw at her.
in his awkward little way. Anyway,
Yeah, that was funny. I agree. That was really funny, actually. It was the best part of the movie.
how dare you, sir? My God.
It's
You'll
not Bill Murray's best thing at all.
You'll
It's not
be
even
one of
close.
these people that love Ghostbusters 2 and found the first one not as good.
Oh, you like Caddyshack 2 better than the original, too, by
I've
the way.
never made it through Caddyshack
You
2.
told me you liked Blues Brothers 2000 with John Goodman
No.
better than the original. You said that. I heard you.
No, but
You
Bill
like
Murray is the
Grease.
best part of Ghostbusters. Okay, let's go.
You like Grease 2 better than Grease 1.
I've never seen Grease 2. I can't
Ah,
stand
come
Grease
on.
1.
You said that. Yeah, I heard you say it. That's
I'm
what I
not a
heard.
musical person. All right, let's go.
My girl threw a phone in a lake before. It's funny when I expect a reaction. How about A. Smith's old George Young days? Right, his old blow days. That's a story. That's an anecdote from those times. That's what I feel like. Okay, so this is. Should I read the article first? Should I read
Sorry,
the
I was
article?
muted. I was muted, having an allergy attack. Sure, go with the article.
Okay, so this is from again. This is Depp's mortal enemy. The Depp's journalistic nemesis, Deadline again, and they break a lot of. We got a lot of documents from them. So they write this extensive piece about Bill Murray and his transgressions. And I believe it goes something like this. I mean, Bill Murray, like I said, he is like sacrosanct, a world treasure, a guy who's just Teflon, untouchable until now. So Tom Tapp from Deadline met Bill Murray faces an avalanche of new accusations. A new report from Puck this week alleged that Bill Murray has paid $100,000 a settlement to a much younger female crew member on the film Being Mortal, the production of which Deadline first reported in April was being suspended due to a complaint made against Murray for inappropriate behavior. The report alleges that Murray, 72, kissed and straddled the woman on set. She was allegedly horrified, interpreted his actions as entirely sexual and nothing else, filed a complaint against the actor. The Deadline has reached out to Murray and no comment has been received. Quick succession were other allegations against Murray this week. Not 24 hours after the Puck report, Geena Davis' memoir, Dying of Politeness, was released, and she had a book out, and it contains her account of working with Murray on Quick Change in 1990. The Oscar winner says that the first time she met her soon-to-be co-star, he insisted on using a massage machine. Thinking about Weinstein when I said that. On
Me
her
too.
back. Oh my God, a massage. Davis says she refused the offer multiple times, but Murray continued to insist, and she relented so as to not make a scene. She alleges the comedian later screamed at her on the set in front of more than 300 people. Davis also says in the book that she was made uncomfortable by Murray's behavior in the dual interview they did on Arsenio Hall's show, which included Murray trying to pull down the spaghetti strap on her dress as she spoke yesterday. See, I think I went looking for this, and I wish I had this. I'd like to hear it maybe next time. Rob Schneider, SNL alum, said Murray absolutely hated the cast members when he came back to guest host. That was actually a
Well,
phenomenal episode. I watched that a few months ago.
to be fair, I hated that cast too. So go ahead.
No, he's talking about the Dana Carvey, Phil Hartman cast.
Eh.
Oh God, you're crazy. That's the best cast ever. That cast is unbelievable. Just Hartman
Rob
and
Schneider
Carvey.
throws off the
No, he was
balance there.
Schneider was good on the show. He was pretty good. Believe it or
Mm.
not, I swear to God, that's a great cast. That '92, that's might be the very best year. He wasn't very nice to Schneider said on. He wasn't very nice to us. Schneider said on Sirius XM's Jim Norton and Sam Roberts
Oh
show.
God.
How jealous is Howard he didn't get that scoop? By the way, because
Uh,
Schneider's been on the show many times. And again, I wish I maybe need to go get that. He hated us on Saturday Night Live when he hosted. He absolutely hated us, and I mean a seething hatred. Schneider contended that Murray displayed extra ire towards certain cast members. Now, this I get. Not this one, but he hated Chris Farley with a passion. Like he wasn't really, he was just seething when he looked at him. Schneider said before adding that Murray also really hated I could see that. I could see it.
I
I
agree
could
with
see him
that.
hating Adam Sandler because he's very shticky, and it's kind of everything Murray's against as a performer. Right, Sarah?
Sure. I'm so not a fan of Saturday Night Live. So all right.
That's no, you're off. That season, that's the Hartman, the Dana Carvey, Phil Hartman's SNL was really good. It gets that show gets destroyed and justifiably so, but you don't hit that season. Those Carvey Hartman seasons are great. While Schneider said he couldn't be certain of the reasons for Murray's feelings, he was certain that there were. The guy just had naked rage, said Schneider. Now this is I read this this is kind of what made me go after this, and I had this Hunter S. Thompson notion with. Now, Seth Green has also spoken out for the first time about what he was in an altercation with Murray on SNL, the SNL set when he was 9 years old. And Murray, again, who was guest hosting, would have been in his early 30s at that point. Green was set to play this kid in his sketch. He was sitting backstage on watching TV when he sees Murray. Murray saw me sitting on the arm of his chair, and he made a big fuss about me being in his seat. And I was like, that is absurd. I'm sitting on the arm of this couch. There's several lengths on this sofa. Just kindly F off. And he's like, hey, that's my chair. Green says he refused to move. Then Murray picked Green up by his ankles, held me upside down, dangled me over a trash can, and he was like, that trash goes in the trash can. And I was screaming, and I swung my arms and I flailed around wildly, full contact with his balls. He dropped me in the trash can at that point, and trash falls all over. I was horrified. I ran away and hid under the table in my dressing room, and I just cried. Those are just some of the latest allegations in a long line of allegations from former co-stars and others about Murray. Lucy Liu last year said Murray started to hurl insults at her during a rehearsal for Charlie's Angels. From Liu's perspective, some of the language Murray used was inexcusable and unacceptable. She therefore decided to speak up in spite of the fact she was one of the lesser-known actors on set. So I stood up for myself, and I just don't regret it, she said. The film's director, these names, Mick
I know.
G., also claimed Murray headbutted him while
Why does everybody allow this?
I don't know, because it's Bill Murray. It's Bill Murray.
I don't care about Bill Murray can go suck an egg if he's acting like this on a set. I'll put him in the unemployment line in 2 seconds if I'm McG and he headbutts me.
Do you know how important it is to get a Bill Murray on a movie like that, and how you just would go
No.
along? He has a reputation of being Like, he's just so walking to his own drummer and so eccentric and so sacrosanct that you just don't push back or question anything a guy like
That would
that does.
have been the case in 1988.
Yes, it was the case. Yes.
This wasn't when they were filming Charlie's Angels.
He still had it. He still had it years
Mm.
and years later. He still had that kind of, I'm telling you. He was someone you just don't. He's completely Teflon and untouchable. He gets away with. You know how Barkley gets away with stuff on TNT that
That's
would
a
get anybody
different.
else
That's a
fired.
different character.
It's same no, but it's the same thing where he just has this unaccountability because he has this air about him. The others Murray claims to have clashed with on set. Do you remember the Richard Dreyfus? That was the first guy to. Richard
You have to
Dreyfus
remind me
had
of that. I'm not
Richard
aware of that
Dreyfus has a
story.
story about getting bullied on. One of my favorite premises. What about Bob? About Bill Murray's a mental patient who harasses his psychologist when he's on vacation, which I believe happens in real life. I mean, that's a thing I bet therapists get all the time. They get so dependent on the therapist that the patients harass them all, call them all day and night. That's why you can never get them on the phone. They have like a phone. They just become like, call my voice service and I'll decide what I want to do with it. Earlier this year, Murray addressed being mortal allegation in a sit-down interview with CNBC. He's like, I did something I thought was funny, and I thought it wasn't taken that way. The actor admitted at the time. The company, the movie studio, they wanted to do the right thing, so they wanted to check it all out, investigate it. So they stopped the production. But as of now, we're talking and we're trying to make peace with each other. I think that's where the real issue is between our peace. We're both professionals. We like each other's work. We like each other. But I think if you really can't get along, if you really can't get along and trust each other, there's no point in going further working together and making the movie. When asked by Deadline about the incident last morning, Murray's co-star in the film, Keke Palmer, said, I just had a wonderful time filming. Aziz Ansari is one of the coolest people I've ever met. It was just a really cool. He got Me Too'd too, and so it was really cool experiences. And I don't know anything more than that. I'm sorry. So these things are flying around about Murray, and it's just more. So as I do that, I want to play Sarah one of her new favorite videos.
I have a
You'll
feeling
love
you're
this.
lying.
No. I have. You're not going to believe this. Just happens to be here and online. This is Bill Murray and Geena Davis on Arsenio Hall in 1990. So before you dismiss Geena Davis as some kook, she can't handle it. She doesn't get it. She's lying. Just check this out.
My. I thought we were going to get together on what we were wearing. What's the deal?
There's some green in that.
I don't
Oh my God.
I just want to know if Herschel Walker was watching.
Timely
That's a weird
reference.
That's a weird. What was he? He must have been Arsenio.
Yeah, probably.
And he must have been on the Cowboys at that point. Remember when he was integrated back into the NFL from the USFL, and he played on the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Vikings, and he must have just, I don't know. Arsenio was known to have a ton of athletes on, tons of NBA players on that show.
Is she still at this stage? Is she still riding the wave of mega fame from Cutthroat Island?
Yeah, she was a pretty big star around those early '90s for about 5 minutes. It just didn't quite work. But she was an A-list actress for about 2 years, it seems like.
Thanks to Brad Pitt.
I heard, and this might be wrong, you had to read for this? Did he make you read for this?
Yeah, I did. I had to audition.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It was a lot like this, in fact, yeah.
Really? He touched you a lot in the audition?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
No, I swear. The first thing he did was like take my shirt out of my pants and start tickling my stomach.
See, he's doing Caddyshack face, so you don't take it seriously. He's got the stroke face to the left. That's just Bill being Bill, but apparently she's creeped out by this. Do you see it, or is she just being an actress?
What I saw, and no, he should not be doing this. She leans over to him first and pulls him in, and then he takes it way too far, of course.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Is this a story you want to tell? Maybe,
I'm not sure. Can
know,
we like back up?
if Jeff is watching, he might not like
it's
you.
all cool with Jeff. What we have is so strong. Jeff understands.
When she read, did you know immediately she was right for it?
Not the first time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we were, like I said, I was new, I had no idea, How was I to know? Baby, let me slide on this, will you? But the first time, Geena was really good, and I thought, well, let's see her again, but she...
Thank you, Crazy Robin. She backs up the crack baby theory. I treated kids born that way. It was born drug addicted. All babies are tested at birth, and the child will be taken away. Oh my God, I didn't realize they were always tested. That's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Crazy Robin.
We thought maybe we wanted her to play it
not
rougher, just
Camilla.
tougher. So we chatted a lot, we talked a lot, and said, come back and be tougher.
Yeah. So I had this I'm like, oh man, I can't believe this. So fine, I'll go back and I'll just like be, abuse him or something. So I had, this intention to kind of, to be different in the audition. Because, when he starts taking out your shirt, you start going, hee hee, and it's like, you become an
Do
idiot.
that thing where you go, hee hee hee.
Shut up. So.
Did he just grab her in a thigh?
I think he touched it. Yeah.
This is now. What's your take on the mood here?
He is creepy.
Lecherous, but it's Bill being Bill.
Of
So
course.
you
But like
just
a
can't-
comment said before, she opened the door and he kicked it in. She cracked the door open to peek out and he kicked the door in.
By the way, I want to thank my talk show heroes, who has a great YouTube channel. The guy just collects old talk show moments, and just must have recorded every single talk show that's ever existed in that time, and it's on his channel. It's a great channel.
Now, was
you
Bill
wanna
Murray
find-
married at this time?
He's been married twice. Jesus. Let me pull up his because that's important to this.
Because that's who should have the biggest problem with this.
Yeah, his personal life is crazy. He had a wife die. It could have been a suicide. Her name was Jennifer Butler, and it's his second wife. And they divorced in 2008. His personal life is so mysterious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't know anything. He has 6 kids. His first son with his first wife is the assistant coach on UConn, the Connecticut Huskies.
Mm-hmm.
He's been an assistant on like 10 different Division I teams over time. And his second wife died last year.
Okay.
And I don't know if it was suicide. Her name's Jennifer Butler. And he got no publicity at all. They divorced 13 years before that.
All right.
Is that the question? But what was your original question was? he had a son who got arrested during a Black Lives Matter protest for attacking cops in Massachusetts. His name is Caleb, and he looks like he could be light skinned. He looks like he could be mulatto, but his wife is not. His wife is white, so I don't know if he's adopted.
You mean biracial? Thank you.
Why is mulatto wrong?
I don't think that's appropriate anymore. It's
You
not
can't
how
say
it's turned.
mulatto?
I don't think you can anymore.
Oh, I thought that was okay.
I don't know. I'm no expert.
Some octoroon.
No, stop.
So I'm like, well, so I'll just, but then I get there and he's just bought this like massage thing, this back, those big giant.
It's called the Thumper.
The Thumper.
If I'm the wife, I got a major problem with this.
It's endorsed by doctors. I mean, I just...
This is getting...
Yeah, I got a feeling Jeff is at home turning into the Fly right now.
Arsenio, saving
that's
it,
what
breaking the
happens,
tension.
I'll be there for you no matter what insect Jeff turns into.
Wow.
Go on, tell me about the meeting.
So he gets out this Thumper thing and he says, you should try this. I'm going to massage your back with this thing. And I'm like, I'm thinking, no way, you know, this is this. Oh, excuse me.
It's all right, honey. It's very soft.
I'm like, this will be part of how I'm going to be tough. There's like no way in hell I'm going to let him touch me with this thing. And, you know, cut to 5 minutes later, and I'm like laying on the couch, and he's like on my back with this thing. So I wasn't tough. But then they sort of changed their mind or something. They decided they liked me to be
Soft.
sweeter.
It was
These are
really
weird stories.
extraordinary. What the reading she did then was we just sort of turned over all the
Okay, yeah.
cards and said, well, that's that. And she's all relaxed now too.
This is really creepy. Is it not the creepiest thing? Look
Yes,
at
it's
this.
creepy.
And the chemistry, right? I mean, or lack thereof. So yeah, he's married to his first wife, Margaret Kelly. They were married in 81 and divorced in 96. So this is
Yep.
in between that. So his wife is probably watching this, I would imagine.
The locks would have been changed if I'm Margaret.
You're on a tight ship, Sarah.
Yeah, this is.
His second wife, Jennifer Butler, he marries a year later. He cheated on the first wife.
Oh, okay.
So that's how that ended with this Jennifer Butler. They
Mhm.
remarry in 1997, a year later, very similar to Amber Heard and Vanessa Paradis, and they divorce in 2008. And this Jennifer Butler, this is a crazy thing. She passes away last year. A year ago. She was a costume designer on Quick Change, I think.
Okay.
And that's how he must have kept in contact with her. Groundhog Day, all his movies. Jennifer Butler. She's about 20 years younger than he is.
Of course she is.
About 20 years younger. He's born. No, not that much. I'm sorry, like 12 years. It's not that big age difference. Now Murray has a total of 6 children. He has 4 with her and 2 with his first wife. I mean, you just know nothing about his personal life. They never, because wouldn't you look at Murray like, what's his deal? Like, what? Doesn't he just seem to float around America just doing whatever he wants? And he doesn't seem to have, you never see him with his family in any way.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that he had so many children.
Did you ever hear that story of Bill Murray? He would be known for, he's just walking to his own comedic drummer that he would see, like, say you had a communion for yourself, your parents threw you communion, and he's driving through the neighborhood. He'd just stop in and walk into the party and just start participating in the party. He might even bring a gift. Shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just avant-garde comedy like that. No one's recording it. It's not like he's doing it for any attention. He would just do his own, and I think more people should do stuff like that. That's funny. So you're at the party like, oh my god, what's Bill Murray doing here? And he would just stop in. He really is just like a crazy Teflon force of nature until now.
Mm-hmm. So why do you think he has so many problems?
My theory is this. This is a theory. Nice setup, Sarah.
I know.
I've seen better setups from
I tripped into that one.
John Stockton in 1992. So the ties to Depp, they're both in the movie Ed Wood. They also both played Hunter S. Thompson. Bill Murray played Hunter S. Thompson in 1980 in a film called Where the Buffalo Roam, where you need to watch, Sarah. And it's basically just this, not much of a story. It's just Hunter S. Thompson going to the Super Bowl to cover it, and hilarity ensues.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dark comedy. Peter Boyle plays the Benicio del Toro role as the lawyer Oscar Acosta, and it's very underrated. It's a eerily similar Thompson in the way that Depp is, slightly different, but he's in the movie he goes to the Woody Creek compound, and so in order to play Thompson, you have to hang out with Thompson and get his blessing. So that's exactly what Murray did. If anyone's less accountable than Bill Murray, it's Hunter S. Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
Sacrosanct, outlaw, can do whatever he wants, can go into a bar with a fucking electric cattle prod and shock people. He can pull guns on people and not have, which for no other reason than just because he can. He can do whatever the hell he can. sexually assault people, and which that was an alleged thing in the
Mhm.
early 80s that Thompson had that against him. So the theory is that hanging out with Hunter S. Thompson enables you and galvanizes you into thinking you could do anything you want to whomever you want. And Depp has a little percentage of that in him. So when you hear crazy stuff about Depp, some of it could very well be true, because when you're thinking to yourself, if you don't know this, you don't know Depp. When you're thinking about Hunter S. Thompson, you're like, if Hunter can do it, I can do it, and that makes it okay.
Mhm.
Right? You're channeling Hunter S. Thompson. You have his blessing to be as chaotic and as random as you feel like Hunter can be, and that gives you every green light to do it. And Murray lives that life. So when Depp was doing Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, he made a phone call to Bill Murray, and he asked Bill Murray, well, I have a video. I kind of put together a piece from the Rolling Stone article about him researching Thompson.
Okay.
You want to go further with this?
Yeah.
It was
Well,
great.
we'll finish
It was
this
really
up
great.
with the
And she
Murray
really-
stuff.
I was really surprised. I mean, we've known each other since Tootsie, and she's probably had the most dramatic acting chop moves in that time of anybody I've known. I mean, she's really a big deal. She's a big deal. Then she won the Oscar, so we looked legitimate having her in the movie. She's really a very nice person. And get a load of the dress.
Dress is definitely kicking. Let's take a commercial. I'm gonna recuperate from seeing this dress, and we'll come back with Geena Davis and
How uncomfortable is Arsenio right now?
Well, he's praying to Jesus right now. So as they go to commercial break.
Just like you and David, a Cleveland boy. Now, say what you will about Arsenio. Call him a cornball. Call him this or that.
Call him Eddie Murphy's boyfriend.
One of the nicest guys in show business, from everything I know and everything I've heard.
Mhm.
One of the nicest guys. It's one of those dudes you want to be friends with. He just never. I mean, they call what did Howard call them? Ass Kissio. You remember that?
I
in the
don't
early
remember
90s?
that, but
One
I
of the
believe
nicest
it.
guys. Truly, truly. This isn't an act. He really is like a nice guy like that.
Mhm.
And say what you will.
Paul Abdul's one of her boyfriends.
Straight up, not tell me. Everybody, right? Did they actually go out?
Yeah, they dated.
The straight up video when he's in that, everyone went crazy because, oh my God, that's Arsenio Hall. But this
Mhm.
show, make no mistake, this show was massive in the late 80s. And or if anybody could challenge Johnny Carson, it was that Arsenio, because he went that other vibe, and it was huge, huge, huge. I watched it any chance I got
Mhm.
during those years. He ended it. It could have gone on for years.
That's
He
where you
decided
fell in
that's
love with
enough.
Milli Vanilli and Bill Clinton.
There's a lot of moments on that show. There was a lot of memorable stuff that came out of that.
I'm sitting with Bill Murray, and
thought he was
Geena
gonna start
Davis
singing.
is wearing an amazing dress. We have a clip, and we should look at that clip so we can see you do your thing.
Yeah, okay.
What is this clip? What's in it?
This is, we
And look, nobody owned singing corny pop music better than Bill Murray does
Mhm.
as the lounge singer, right? Did he not
Yeah.
popularize that in the best possible way? When there's nothing funnier than Bill Murray in a Saturday Night Live monologue singing Whitney Houston's "I Will Always Love You" earnestly.
I agree.
The more earnest you sing it, the funnier it is. With that deadpan face.
If the bank heist is over and we're sort of in trouble about getting out of New York at this point, and I'm getting a little hysterical. I think it's what's happening, and Randy's getting very hysterical, basically.
Okay, let's look at it. Sandy, you got it?
Randy Quaid was the other.
Oh,
Thank you for not
nice
subjecting
job,
me to that.
nice job, my talk show heroes, for cutting the clip. You're gonna get a quick change. Could you imagine getting a quick change copyright?
I was hoping that I wouldn't have to witness this clip.
That would be funny though. Just screenshot that.
Is she in this freeze frame? Is she sending messages to Arsenio?
Yeah.
It's also high drama, as you can see.
You see the acting, don't you? I mean, it's incredible, isn't it?
Your husband told me something. See? Your husband shook you. Yes.
Wow. And you're not even talking about, nobody brings up Bill's wife. I mean, that's just completely verboten. Like, you just don't think of him as a family guy or being married at all. For years, I wondered that. No, you just never looked into it because you just thought of him as just kind of just some cartoon character.
He's not here. He's out of town.
He told me some things about you that Mr. Murray might be interested in hearing.
Okay.
First of all, you do a great impression of Flipper.
Oh,
and well, at least he
Change
said
the
it was
subject,
great.
Arsenio, quick.
All right.
Flipper?
that's interesting.
This is news to me.
Still at it.
I think everybody'd like to see your impression of Flipper.
No.
I was going to ask you to do it.
Geena Bobina says Seth Green got scammed on that NFT shit with the celebrities and the paintings and the NFT. God damn it, did that? What a flash 15 minutes that was, right? The NFT moment, that little 2 weeks, it was huge, and then you don't hear shit about it anymore. It must be one big scam.
I don't do Flipper.
But if you were to do Flipper, what would it be like?
I don't know.
At least he tried. Now you should try.
Okay,
It's true, it's so embarrassing.
Oh,
I don't think that the members of the Academy will look in this in an unfavorable light at all, Gene. I think they'll...
Just pretend
Okay,
that the
well-
boom is a fish and do Flipper, baby,
Well-
please.
Okay, so
According to John O'Reilly, the expert, he says this is sexual harassment 101
Yep.
in this clip. There's no denying it. But this is an era where you didn't think of that. You just got away, whether it was the workplace, the dirty birdie, the Dan Fielding from Night Court at the workplace. We just laughed at it and went along with it. There was no such thing as a Me Too. I mean, you could go channel anything you remember. I'm sure, Sarah, I'm sure you have stories, right? From
Of course,
when you
every
first
woman has a
started,
story.
from John Mayer and Richard Marks
Uh-huh.
at T-Mobile.
But wouldn't any woman find this guy attractive with his clown pants and patterned vest from 1991? I mean, nothing more sexier. And the acne scarring on his face. I mean, you do anything to get a role to work with Bill Murray.
Yeah, Kylo Sierra Alpha goes, they're after Bill Murray. No one is safe. These rich actors should be surrounded by people of all genders to avoid these types of losses.
Yeah.
When you take down Bill Murray, I mean, truly, if you could take down Bill Murray, no one is safe. No one. That's absolutely true. Again, I think Charles Barkley has that weird thing, right, where he can't be canceled.
Yeah, but he's not at
Very,
this
very-
level. He's not a creep like this
I-
that we
I
know
go-
of.
Going through David, like this is a 33-year-old man, and I'm going through David's post. All I see is Barbara Streisand, Josh Brolin. He down here is talking about Tootsie. This is a 33-year-old man talking about the movie Tootsie, which is a 42-year-old movie, and he knows it better than I do.
Were you able to find anything on Bill Murray talking about Johnny Depp or vice versa?
Yes,
Okay.
Bill Murray and Geena Davis are both in Tootsie.
Flip, Bud, the kid, was always, Flip was always trying to tell him something, he's stuck on the island, you gotta
She's
come
setting
rescue
up
him.
her impression.
Setting up my impression.
May need it. You never know.
So Flip would be trying to tell him something, and he'd go, God, I don't know what my face looks like when I do this. Flip goes, "Ah!" Wait.
Okay.
She's very uncomfortable. She's doing that fake laugh, and she's trying desperately to go into this flipper thing to change the subject.
She's making me uncomfortable with this.
She
flipper
looks
thing,
like
so-
she's gonna cry. Kylo says she looks so uncomfortable. She wishes the couch were longer. She's hoping Arsenio would save her, and he kind of did, but he can only do so much. Mind change. Bill has boyish charm, but full of creep master general. Very embarrassing, says Affy. All right, you guys get the hint. So as I went to this article, I remember. By the way, can I just jerk myself off here for a minute?
Need help?
This issue of Rolling Stone, if anybody could help me out, I this came back to me and I don't know why. Did you know that I got published in Rolling Stone the issue after this?
Yes, you tell me every other day.
I did not. I've never brought this up. I wrote to Rolling Stone, and they published my. It was the very first letter published in the next issue, commenting on this particular article. And
Okay.
it is the issue. It's in 1998, I think, and on the cover is the model, the supermodel, Letitia Casta.
All right. Do you have a
She's
copy?
nude, but it's like her back is to the camera.
Do you have a screenshot of your letter?
No.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you could. Maybe someone could find it. Maybe if you, who knows? God knows who screenshots what out there. It wouldn't shock me if it was still there. But it's the very issue after this, what I'm about to read, and it was a
What's
cool
the
moment. You
date?
know, I don't know. It's 1998. The model Letitia Casta's on the cover of it,
Okay.
nude. Gunga Din had a letter published in Penthouse. He beats me. Okay, this is here we go.
In 1971, Johnny Depp wasn't particularly worried.
This is the conduit to Hunter S. Thompson and Bill Murray and Depp. This is Depp researching Thompson and what he had to go through to become Thompson. So I'm giving you the setup.
About the weird escapades and brutal disappointments that await you when you load up a convertible with too many drugs and search in vain for the remnants of the American dream. He was 8. His family had just moved to Florida. In those days, Depp's big obsessions were Evel Knievel and World War II.
John O'Reilly, what was your byline for the letter? It was
the issue would have been September 1998 because she was August 1998.
Okay. No, it's her on. Yeah, this is the right.
Yes,
This
I just
and
looked at it.
okay. My letter's not. You can't see my letter, right?
No, but the issue that your letter would have been in would have been dated September 1998.
Yeah, so if somebody has transferred that to digital, we can find my letter. And I'm trying to remember the headline. What they wrote? It's like Johnny Depp walks to his own drummer, and the letter I wrote was 2 pages long, and they truncated it to like a paragraph or like 2 sentences, and they took out of it like something like, unlike these endless avant-garde pretenders like Brad Pitt and Keanu Reeves, Johnny Depp has challenged the movie industry or some shit like that. And that's the gist of it. What?
Katie Holmes was on the cover of the magazine you were in. The
How do
issue
you know
you were
that?
in. I'm looking at September 1998. Rolling
No,
Stone.
maybe it was 2 months later because Letitia Casta's on the cover of it. I'm positive of that.
She wasn't. Okay, so was she on the cover of what? She wasn't on the cover of the issue you were in. She was not. You were in the next issue, right?
I'm in the issue with Letitia, whatever month that is.
Okay, you
I
said it was
had the
the next
magazine.
one.
I had it up until 3 years ago.
Okay.
I lost it. That's whatever that is, whatever month that is. It's a pink background. I don't know if you do you see.
I saw it.
Okay.
He couldn't read enough about Nazi Germany. In the Depp backyard, inspired by Hogan's Heroes, he dug a tunnel. He would climb underground and sit there. He was very much a boy in his own world. He used to emit strange noises which worried his family. He dreamed of being the first white member of the Harlem Globetrotters. In his late teens, after Depp had dropped out of high school and was playing in a band, he read Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. His older brother, Dan, had turned him on.
There's Danny Depp, David. We're going to do the David book review soon with Danny Depp. By the way, I have a crazy clip I found of Johnny Depp playing basketball as Captain Jack Sparrow with his son's friend. And I believe his son Jack is filming it. I am positive this is the real Depp as Sparrow. I've gone over it 1,000 times. I know his face. I know his body movements. It's him. And I'll play that after this.
Onto it. It was the most outrageous thing I'd ever read. Depp says, "Oh fuck, no, those guys were heroes. I mean, they had to be. They're out there, living it." Thompson had always wanted Fear and Loathing to be a movie. I just wrote the book as an experiment. He recalls just trying to reach out and write cinematically. I forgot the interior monologues and all the hallucinations. Nonetheless, there was interest from the start. Jack Nicholson was intrigued. Larry McMurtry wrote.
Thompson had a friendship with Jack Nicholson, who was very mysterious. I mean, Nicholson's supposedly not doing well now. You never see him at the Laker games anymore. Nicholson was up for not up for. I guess Thompson wanted him to play, but they had a friendship. And Nicholson's a very mysterious guy. You don't know a shit about his personal life. He would hang out with Thompson very often at the Aspen. That's the first celebrity that Thompson befriended, and he was gonna play him but didn't. So we'll find
a script. There was a filmmaker named Clive Aerosmith who had ideas when Thompson wondered how Aerosmith would portray the nightmarish hallucination in which the drinking sports reporters turned into alligators. Aerosmith told him, "It'll be easy when we just live like alligators. We'll give them quaaludes and we'll nail their fucking paws to the bar, and then they'll wake up. We'll kill them." That was the mood of the 70s, says Thompson. Anything was possible. But the 70s passed and the film wasn't made. In 1980, a strange, messed up film about
Sarah, you know gossip from old gossip. Is this true? Crazy Robin says Nicholson beat up a prostitute, and those are the allegations.
I'm not sure.
I believe her. I bet you it was at a time when you could just skate all that stuff. Who are you going to believe? A hooker or the Joker? Hooker or Joker?
Thompson was called Where the Buffalo Roam, and it was released, with Thompson now played by Bill Murray. "Oh, its failure didn't help. It fell out of favor for a while," said Thompson, because, drugs now became uncool. By 1996, a new effort was underway. At about 7 o'clock in the morning, New York morning, March, during the filming of Donnie Brasco, Depp's phone rang. Listen, Depp remembers Thompson saying, they're talking about making a movie of Vegas. What do you think about playing me? And I remember saying, "Oh, absolutely." For a while, Depp heard nothing. A few months later, he suggested to the Viper Room, the Los Angeles club that Depp co-owns, book an appearance by Thompson. I remember him stabbing a blow-up doll with a fork on stage. Depp says, but the movie wasn't mentioned. Depp eventually learned Thompson's routine. A normal day is actually waking up about 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night, watching ESPN or just watching sports, or CNN. Deborah Thompson's assistant for many years. She'd cook his breakfast and give us vitamins. She's a saint.
Breakfast at 8 o'clock at night, Sarah. What do you think? Could you be more opposite of your schedule?
No kidding.
Right? Can you believe that life?
I know. I'm going to have to train him.
He's still doing it. That Rolling Stone piece, 20 years later, he's keeping the same hours.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't have the right woman.
Dialogue for the first few hours with Hunter, is waking up. And then we'd sit and talk for hours and hours, and then maybe drive down to a nearby town, have a drink or two. And then, we'd talk about 3 or 4, 5 in the afternoon.
Afi, you're so right. I think about that all the time. Artie Lang would fit in so magnificently in this lifestyle and this time. He knows, God damn it. He really would. He would be such a perfect sidekick during this whole thing. I couldn't agree more. Or Doug Stanhope.
All the time, and that was about it. All the time Depp was studying. By
the way, Sarah, this is my dream. I'm not jealous of a lot of things. I don't think I have a pretty good perspective that way. I am jealous of this. I am jealous. Hunter S. Thompson's life and what he cultivated for himself. I don't think it gets any better than that. I'm jealous of that. I'm going to admit it right here. The compound, people coming to you, the doing this, the kind of unaccountability he has. And then you have this insane respect and you just write your own ticket and walk to your own drummer and write when you want to write and do. Does it get any better than this?
Yes, look how it ended for him.
I know. Well, that's the genius. I mean, that's the downside is there comes a pathos with that. And you read his suicide letter, it's really sad. It's called "Football Season is Over." And it's just the guy saw a future. He didn't want to be 70. He didn't want to know his life post 70. He didn't want to, he just was like, he didn't even want to be in his 60s. It was like, hence football season is over. It's like he doesn't see the fun maintaining. He's in it for the fun. And when the fun is over, what does a guy like who's abused himself for years and years and years do at that point? What is it? I mean, he probably thought to himself all those. What does Hunter S. Thompson look like at 70?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
He's not
Depp's
going to sit
going
with
through
a
that now.
therapist.
Depp's going to be 60 next year.
Watch his mannerisms, the way he sort of rocked back and forth, the way obviously it's talked, his expressions. It's weird with Hunter because it's more sort of like watching the way he thinks. You can see the wheels turning, and you can see the idea coming, and that was really the key for me because he's constantly on thinking. He's very very quick, and there's just no lulls. Depp knew the downstairs next to where Thompson was sleeping, the archive, the war room, everything was there, but Depp didn't want to ask. I didn't want to be this horrible actor boy who says, "Oh, okay, let's have everything right now. I want to get out of here." I wanted it to happen more naturally. Thompson would ask Depp to read old pieces of Thompson's writing, and then he'd critique Depp's reading. Oh, well, punctuate that. He said, "Yo, you really got to hit that one. The 1971 boxes simply marked."
How much of an egomaniac is that? You have someone reading your own material to you in front of you.
I know.
So
well, that whole scene where Depp,
Go
that whole scene where Depp is going through Hunter S. Thompson's belongings, and they both are at the same time, and they find that rum diary manuscript, and Hunter's like, "You got to make that into a movie."
That's where this happened.
Really?
This is the exact time that happened.
Yeah.
He doesn't bring it up here, but that's what he's going through. Hence we get Amber Heard. Sarah's got a great point, everyone. This is exactly what led to Amber Heard. So Depp's going through his archives and he finds the rum diaries, and Thompson's thinking, well, this is kind of like a bit boring to turn into and he was right. Into a movie or a book, and I'm not going to publish this. And Depp's telling him, kissing his ass, telling him that everything he does is brilliant. We need to publish this right now. You're crazy. I have enough play and power and connections where I can get this thing made. I can even turn this into a film. So they published the book after this. Hence, the movie comes out. Hence, the casting of Amber Heard. It's all right in this paragraph. Sarah's absolutely right. When it really comes down to it, this wrought Amber Heard.
Remember that.
The
I'm
Vegas
right.
book appeared in the kitchen one afternoon before Thompson had risen and it all had been saved. The literature from the drug conventions and the napkins with notes on them, the purloined bars of Neutrogena soap. No one had even touched these things since 1971. Depp says, and the 3 beat-up stained spiral notebooks in which Thompson had scribbled his observations on. I had spoke to Bill Murray.
So here we go. So to make the transformation and the research of Thompson complete, as one would do, and I certainly would do it too. And I don't know how many people just call Bill Murray up, but Depp knew him from Ed Wood. Lest us forget. Bill Murray has a very great underrated role in Ed Wood as Bunny Breckenridge, a transvestite.
Amazing performance.
Yes,
in my
very
favorite movie.
very underrated. He's underrated in it, and the movie's underrated, obviously, but we bring it up
Oh,
all the time. We don't
absolutely.
underrate it.
We love that
But
movie.
Murray's underrated in it. I don't think he gets. I think he should have been in. Well, you know the story. Samuel Jackson. It was Judy Tenuta, right? He brought us the fucking thank you, Judy. We'll get to that some other time. He brought us the casting for Pulp Fiction, and Depp
Oh,
was
yeah.
brought up on every single character
Mhm.
as potential that Tarantino wanted to work with him. So they
Uma
came out.
Thurman too. Her character.
That's good. Very nice. Very nice. Miss Sarah, very nice.
I know,
You're
I'm
like a
amazing.
sitcom wise ass
I'm
over there.
amazing when I'm freezing to death and about to fall asleep.
How's that cartoon cat doing?
I don't know. I think she's in bed waiting for me.
You gotta make us another Camilla video. I
I'm
love
trying.
the
I've been lazy lately.
Okay, well we only have a few minutes left. I'm just
No, I
gonna
know you're doing fine.
You're damn right.
And you
You're
are
damn right.
fine.
That's where was I going with that? What was I talking about? Murray. Okay, so Depp was up for all these, every single thing. Tarantino wanted him for Pulp Fiction, and as it turns out, so Ed Wood comes out in the same year as Pulp Fiction. Depp doesn't do it. Tarantino's out there going, "I've always wanted to work with Depp. It just hasn't happened yet." Martin Landau won the supporting Academy Award for Bela Lugosi
Mhm.
against Samuel Jackson in that same year. So it all comes full circle. But I knew Tarantino's always wanted to work with Depp. I've read many interviews him saying so in like Movie Line and Premiere. But I did not know he was wanted to cast him. Not his first choice necessarily, but he had a list. So Judy Tenuta showed us a list. Tarantino took a picture of his casting choices for Pulp Fiction, and Depp was on every single character. Not necessarily first, but he was like in the top 5.
Mhm.
If I can't get this guy, I'll get this guy. If I can't get
Yeah,
this guy, I'll get this
exactly.
guy. If I can't get Tim Roth, I'll get Johnny Depp. And it was amazing. I didn't know that. Of all the things, I mean, you always want to work with him, but I didn't realize he wanted that bad, and it still hasn't happened. And I brought up to Tenuta and to you that a role like what Brad Pitt did in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is a genius movie about old 70s Hollywood. And Polanski's actually in that with the whole Sharon Tate thing or whatever.
Mhm.
I wasn't aware of that really. And Brad Pitt is brilliant. And I would always think Depp to be a superior thespian to Brad Pitt in
He is
virtually every single
absolutely.
way. And he is. And he's way more talented and versatile. But I don't see him doing that role as well as Brad Pitt did. That specific role is a lot of physicality. He's playing like a Colt Seavers from fucking Fall Guy, stuntman. And Brad Pitt was just tailor made. I don't see Depp doing that as well. I just don't. And it takes a lot for me to say that. It was just Brad Pitt's never going to do anything better than that movie. It is absolute masterpiece. Virtual masterclass in acting. The movie and Brad Pitt's role in it is as good as I've seen anybody in a movie in years. And I can't believe I'm saying that.
Who did Where the Buffalo Roam? I wanted to know how long this is going to stay with me.
So here he's calling Bill Murray on the phone and asking his advice on how to play Thompson. And what did you go through when you researched Thompson? And this is infected both of their brains to this day.
And basically, he told me it took him 5 years. He found himself just doing it. It was involuntary. He told me he saw a piece of his last film, and there was a moment where he went, "Oh my God, that's Hunter." It's like, it's like a Tourette syndrome or something. I'm still in the throes of it as we speak. So you find yourself thinking like him, and everything just sort of comes out of that.
Okay, that's it. So my point is, Thompson's always in you, and once you get infected in his brain, I could see how that would become addicting, being this kind of unaccountable, worshipped outlaw that can do anything he wants, whenever he wants. Where you could walk into a bar with a cattle prod, an electric cattle prod, and start shocking people. and get away with it, and people laugh. And so Murray carries that spirit around with him as one would,
Hmm.
as you would. And I think Depp, who's admitting it there, that he is as well.
Yeah, and it might flip the switch on the darkest parts of your psyche. Bill Murray may, I'm not blaming everything that we just saw from Bill Murray on playing Hunter S. Thompson, but it may have given him the mistaken belief that he's even more untouchable than he is. Does that make any
Definitely.
sense?
But he has more than just Thompson in him. He has this kind of string of, I mean, like even just people quoting like Caddyshack all the time. He's just worshipped by people who don't worship people. Who just he is someone that who do you know anybody who hates Bill Murray?
I don't know these people that he hangs around with or that he comes in contact with, but there are stories of people that hate him.
Well, we just read. I'm talking about
Of course.
fans. I'm talking about just the general public. Where everywhere you go, you're just
Honestly,
completely.
you don't hear nowadays about Bill Murray much other than him having these allegations. But back in the day, you know, he had the group like the Dream Team, Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray,
Belushi.
Ramis, Belushi. They all hung out together and they all seemed to get along. But there were always stories where Bill Murray was kind of the cold one.
Well, he can be prickly and complicated,
Mhm.
and he can afford to be,
Yeah.
because you'll always bring him back and you'll always want him. There's nothing. He can almost like he could get into any movie he wanted. It would almost like he could get his agent to call virtually any. I think I heard he's doing a Marvel movie. I can't remember which one. I can't remember. There's one of the newer, Marvel's Phase 4. I think he's in something. I can't remember what. Yeah, David says he coined the phrase hunter sexual.
Mhm.
Bill Murray was the original hunter sexual during that. It's a very fitting name, right? I mean, so during Norm Macdonald, David, that's brilliant. Norm Macdonald is a very similar thing going on, right? This weird, prickly, complicated thing. You can't quite figure him out. He gets kind of worshipped almost undeservedly. He gets a little too much praise. Like Norm Macdonald hasn't really hit with anything.
Mhm.
He's been in sitcoms that are canceled in 6 weeks over and over again. I'm not sure what the hell he's so wealthy from that he could gamble the way that he did, but he gets this crazy worship that
Yeah.
it's kind of dumbfounded or unfounded. What's the word I'm looking for? And unfortunately, Norm passed away. He's a little older than I thought. Norm is actually 63.
Mhm. Affy says, I mean, did you see Groundhog's Day and Stripes? Give him a pass. Stripes is probably one of my favorite movies of all time,
Yeah, I mean those
but
things
I won't give him a pass for
people quote Stripes and fucking
Stripes is a
Caddyshack
great
all day
movie.
long. Just everything. He just has this crazy thing you can't je ne sais quoi, as it were, that you just
That
can't.
that Caddyshack scene, Baby Ruth scene.
Yeah,
I was shaped my lack of sense of humor, I would call it, but my love for poop jokes came from that probably
I just
from that
watched a
scene.
I just watched the sketch of him on the Saturday Night Live episode Rob Schneider's talking about. He plays one of my favorite sketches ever. Guy named Frequent Flyer Guy, and it's him
Oh yeah, you sent that
as
to me.
a just this travel. Oh, I sent you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays a guy who he's a frequent he knows everything about air travel, and he's going to tell you how to do it. He's going to adjust your seatbelt for you. He's going to tell you about the in-flight movies. And he just is. It's the funniest fucking thing. I can't. It's one of my favorite sketches, and my favorite part. He actually broke character in this sketch. It's such a he. At one point, he turns in and he taps. I think it's could be Mike Myers or Tim Meadows or someone. He goes, hey, don't fill up on your peanuts. Take your second pack, put it in your shirt pocket, because that way when you get to the rent a car, and he laughs right here. He goes, you got a nice surprise, and he pats him on the back. And it is that funny, and it is that subtle, and it is. But the only time I've ever seen him break character was that one time. Yeah, Animal House, David. That's that whole generation, right? That kind of David was, right. David did the score for Animal House, as you know. So with Thompson's spirit, right? Let's show you a little clip of Hunter S. Thompson and what he does and what he gets away with in action with Depp. I'm just gonna skirt through this. Okay, the article I just read. This is the guy doing the article had a video camera going, and he's following them around in this.
Okay.
This is on our Patreon channel too, by the way. The full thing.
God, he looks
This
good.
is Depp's Sweets. This is Depp's Sweetser house, David. They're inside.
I know you'll never like me, Eddie, but you will speak and you'll say, hi, Edward.
You think Camilla would like Edward, Sarah?
No.
Edward. Hi. Oh, shit. All right, Edward. Go ahead, Eddie. Go ahead.
G Canada, welcome. We were talking about you in the very beginning. You got to rewind. We're giving you our praise and props, an idea for a cameo appearance in a.
All right. Hey. Let go of me, you twat.
Now you see a guy handling a bird like this. That's a wild man. That's a wild man.
I'm not a fan of birds.
With the bird. But look at him. Like you could just that's a wild man. Just by the way he's handling the bird.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a masturbation euphemism.
I know, man. I know. Yes. I just know you don't like this.
Look at this.
Eddie, I was put in jail for rape when I was 15 years old.
You hear that?
No.
Did I just?
Oh yeah. I know what he says.
Listen to this. Is he kidding? Or is this real? He'd be 15 in 1954. Is this real?
I was put in jail for rape when I was 15 years old.
Don't squeeze him.
I went to jail for rape when I was 15 years old. Is he kidding?
I don't know.
Yes. I just know you don't like this.
Was he wiped away because he's a minor?
I was put in jail for rape when I was 15 years old.
Don't squeeze him.
I'm not squeezing you. I know, man. Okay, Eddie. Hey, honey, I never. Boy, you really. This is a goddamn heavy plate on this bitch.
Listen to Depp cackling in the background. He loves every second of it. Every second of it. He would never tell him he didn't.
Hi. Yeah, he's pissed off, but he's healthy now. Good, Edward. He's capable of feeling.
Could be arthritis, says Kylo Sierra Alpha. Not at that point. This is long. This is 20 years ago. 24 years ago. He's still shooting guns.
Cigarette?
You could still have arthritis.
Oh, there we go, man.
I guess he could, right?
Okay. Hot damn. That's it.
Once again, there's a Rolling Stone
That's right, man.
writer following them around, filming it. I guess so he could write easier.
I am Edward. I am Edward. I'll be here. Thank you. Thank you, man.
Good night.
Okay, so he's staying at Depp's house. Depp's going to bed. Depp has just broken up with Kate Moss, and he's going in there to jerk off to a
No,
or an Edward
I'm
Scissorhands.
upstairs.
Oh, Sarah's upstairs. I'm sorry.
Yes.
That's right. So it's that in between. He just got through with Ellen Barkin in the cougar phase on the set of Fear and Loathing.
God damn.
No, this is before that. I'm sorry. Kate Moss
Never
is
mind.
there. Kate Moss is. I'm sorry. This is before that. I correct that. Kate Moss is actually there in the background.
It's like if Ellen
She's
Barkin
there.
got that version of Depp, oh, I'd be obsessed too at this
She's
stage.
researching him. This is before they shoot Fear and Loathing. He's hanging out with him to get his essence because they go to the Viper
Gross.
room. And he leaves Thompson in his house to go crazy. Depp's going to bed before Thompson. Now, who knows what time this is?
Well, the sun's out.
That's Thompson's assistant, Deborah Fuller, on the right.
The truth is, you'll be lonely in here, won't you, Eddie? I have to go to Colorado. I have to go away.
What do you think of what Crazy Robin says here? Who kids like that? Taking your aggression out on this poor animal? Asshole.
I don't know. Was he being aggressive with the bird?
He was holding it kind of tight. He was almost like looking like how I can manhandle this bird.
Yeah.
It was a bit rough. I agree. Arthritis is the plague him his whole life. He was a football knee injury, says Kylo Sierra Alpha, which left him one leg shorter than the other. I did not know that, Kylo. Thank you.
You'll be by yourself. But I'll come back. Don't worry. You won't be alone.
Look
You
at
won't be
Canada.
alone.
This
You
poor
won't be
bird.
alone. That's a good
Is that how you are with you? That
You won't be
cartoon
alone.
catch out of yours, Sarah?
No, that's how she is with me.
You'll hate that
Oh,
one.
Camilla harasses you?
Yes. She holds me aggressively like that.
Okay. Woody Creek, Colorado, May 30th, 1997.
Okay, so we have a music copyright I'm about to get.
Wait a minute. I'm trying to think of the timeline. I think Fear and Loathing is wrapped. And they're just with the guy writing the article now. It comes out a year later.
La la la.
My public domain, drinking public domain, singing this will be the day I public
I think
domain.
they're done.
So we had to factory send those
Look at
guns
this.
here. They're very rare, very hard to get.
All right.
Somebody has called here 6 times and hung up. Why would
You hear that?
No.
Tracy Jacobs doesn't know where Depp is, and she's frantically calling. Listen to Depp. Listen to this. His ex-agent, who we all talk about all the time, is so terrified she's going to lose him. She calls him, probably pitching a script, probably Sleepy Hollow. As we speak, you better take the call. You better take Sleepy Hollow, Johnny. She's calling Thompson, and they won't pick the phone up.
Those guns here, they're very rare, very hard to get.
Somebody has called here 6 times and hung up.
You hear that?
Tracy.
That's got to be Tracy.
That's it. Like breathing.
Somebody called here 6 times and hung up.
Crazy Robin, he is very cute. He's got to be like a 9 or a 10 here.
He's 34.
Prime. This is prime.
He's about to turn 34 in a week after this. Look at Thompson with the what is that, a margarita?
White tank?
Are they really going to shoot peacocks? Oh God, take that out of your mouth and throw it away.
Boy, it gets there real fast. I mean, it's a big punch.
This is great footage. I mean, if you're a Depp fan or Thompson, this is great footage. He's got a Viper Room ski hat on.
Okay, that's mercy on you.
God damn, I thought that was Hunter.
He's getting it down now.
Thank you, Kylo, the arthritis maven. I didn't realize it about the Thompson. I can't know enough about the guy. Sarah, would you wear those earplugs after he wore them?
I would eat them.
Sarah, was that a Rolling Rock in the background? I know you're a big fan of Latrobe.
I don't even know what that
Pennsylvania.
is.
I didn't ever see.
See it? Oh, damn.
What's a Rolling Rock? I've heard it.
It's a beer.
Oh, see?
What is that, guys? Is that Molson or something? Some weird Colorado beer? We're not. Is it? It's not Rolling Rock. That's a different label. I don't know what that is. So they're drinking and shooting guns here. Those are 2 beers off to the right.
Never see that he was getting me.
This is what you can do when you're Thompson and you're the sheriff of Woody Creek.
Habit that he'd grow out of pretty soon.
King Ropes, Sheridan, Wyoming. What the hell is that? King Ropes. That sounds so gross, by the way. I know you're going to make a joke. Don't do it, Sarah. Resist making the joke.
What, jump roping with a rope?
It's
so
Dan
disgusting.
Cannon used to be a fan of Rolling Rock. What's the beer? What's the Canadian beer again? G Canada.
Something with a maple leaf on the label. I don't know.
Labatt's. Looks like Kokanee beer from Canada. Everything's Canada. They're in Colorado. It could be true though, G Canada. They're in Colorado. They're in Woody Creek.
Ugh. Imagine the smell of that car.
He's mimicking it.
I know.
June 27th. So he's on the book tour for The Proud Highway. Seemingly back then, Thompson came out with a book at least like twice a year. No matter what it is, it's genius. It doesn't. He actually had a column for ESPN, Sarah. He had a sports column like towards the end of his life. kind of early 2000s ish, where he would just come out with a rant every week, just amusings about whatever was going on in sports, whatever he felt like doing. ESPN was like the early days of the internet.
Charming.
That hair
I hate that hair.
is him, Sleepy Hollow Depp.
Mm-hmm.
So he's about. You did not see the Sleepy Hollow, did you?
Yeah, not yet.
Oh,
I was
that's
gonna watch
crazy.
it for
It's so good.
Halloween, but we decided to go with Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's such a Lauren Marie movie. It's he's great in it as Ichabod Crane. Ichabod Crane's really supposed to look like Howard, so the studio wouldn't allow any kind of goblin to play Ichabod Crane, and Depp plays him, and he's really, really good at it. He kind of bases it on Angela Lansbury.
Reicher could have loaned the talents of their best client, Howard Stern, to do the Sleepy Hollow movie.
Nice Reicher drop. And Depp, I love Sleepy Hollow, but I wish it was longer. I think it needed another half hour. It's a little short. I felt like I remember watching it going, that's it? Come on. It could have easily been longer. A fucking television series came out on Fox. There would be no Fox TV if it wasn't for 21 Jump Street. Oh, whoa. Is that Roman Polanski?
Yep.
They're in France. He's not allowed to be in the United States. This is getting creepier, and I did not catch that the first time. They're in France.
Mm-hmm. Who's that trash?
Look at Thompson. How crazy. He just does whatever he wants. He's hitting people with
course.
hammers. Now there's Matt Dillon. Can I tell you my favorite Matt Dillon story?
No.
That's your favorite Matt Dillon story, everyone. Right here. Depp, of course, played with Kevin Dillon in the band, the Platoon Band. Drums. So the filming, the cameo appearance Thompson has in the Vegas film. Crazy Robin loves Sleepy Hollow. Maybe we could have Crazy Robin as a watch along for that. It's Terry Gilliam, the director of Monty Python fame. He was in Monty Python too.
If you or Johnny passing, just as a moment.
I saw pictures.
Great artist. Terry Gilliam's one of the great, in my opinion, one of the great directors, underrated artists. He truly is an artiste. He doesn't do a lot of crap. He really, really tries to do different crazy stuff. There's a documentary called Don Quixote, the making of it, and Depp was supposed to play Don Quixote, and it just got destroyed. They came out with a documentary about the making of a movie that never came out. He was supposed to direct that. He's really, really great artist. And I don't use the A word too often.
He's an observer, not a perpetrator. I think that's the whole point, is to look.
Great last name too.
Oh,
Gilliam was.
Oh, I thought you meant Quixote.
Yeah, that too.
Isn't it Coyote?
I think it's Quixote. I think it's some weird. Hear Depp. You want to hear Depp sound pretentious? Listen to him pronounce Don Quixote.
Oh.
It's almost like it might be worse than Monty Python. It's that level of, pretentious pronunciation. Well, that's how you pronounce it. I'm not butcher it for you.
I use words.
Quixote.
I just point and grunt. Yeah. More or less. Just write anything and it's all there.
We jump ahead to. Okay, I like this. They're in the trailer, the filming of Fear and Loathing, and they're watching the World Series. I think it's Yankees Marlins. It's in the background. You can see it. There's Christina Ricci. You know about that history.
Reminds me that I look real fucking good these days.
That's right, Gungadin. You can see the transformation before your very eyes.
What are you planning to do in this? Go on.
Thompson's on the set, and they said he was a pain in the ass because it's his life. I mean, he should be a pain in the ass. That he's a menace too. I mean, he's just being crazy and stuff, like Murray is. Like we just found out with Murray. It's still in him. Is my point. The essence is always there. And Thompson's, while he's not being a menace, he's correcting the details, and stuff would piss him off that they'd get wrong, and he would just jump in and. But they needed him there, and they're not going to tell him no.
8 hours sit out here and breathing. I'm starting to believe it. Nobody has any idea.
There's Benicio del Toro.
Let's drink some whiskey, man. Whiskey. Till you're out. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
He was a very staunch Depp defender all throughout. He was one of the few big celebrities to come out defending him when nobody else would.
Okay. I don't drink it, man.
You see the World Series in the background?
Mm-hmm.
I get really ill.
It's the McDonald's Cup. You see that? Oh, it's the Indians, David. That's an Indians hat, right, Sarah? It's the Indians.
Yep. Wahoo.
Yeah, there's Chief Wahoo. Oh, isn't the irony of they're called the Guardians now, and then Depp claims to be 1/30th Cherokee and the Brave and everything like that.
Ask Anthony Kumi about Chief Wahoo and who he looks like.
Crazy Robin goes, love Benicio, sexy. Crazy Robin, we think you're sexy as hell, by the way. Black does not crack, it never will. Look at the madman. Look at this. Just throwing whiskey on people. They laugh at it. Now, who could get away with that? I can't throw whiskey on people.
Mm-hmm. Pain in the ass. I feel the pain in the ass vibe from here.
Well, they got a fake laugh, right? Or laugh, whichever. It can be funny, but maybe not. There's all G Canada's hashtag. So he's watching the filming here.
Observing. Yeah. Johnny comes through. Out of the corner of his eye, he spots something that seems odd. Turns, there's a moment of eye contact, and Johnny walks on. And it's just that brief moment. Was it there? Did you see it? Did we not? Was it here? Yeah. That's a better way to do it.
We love you too, Crazy Robin.
Yeah, that's a brief.
There's the hashtag.
Well, whatever you want to do.
I'm going to leave that on for a while.
I'll be there.
Hashtag Amber's IQ higher than arm.
Are you going to be in the shot with us?
No, I'm not going to be here. I'm behind the camera.
You're an egomaniac, man.
All right, settle in, please.
Here we go. Are you and George going to be in this?
No, I'm not.
All right, shooting out.
Here we go. Are you and George
It kind of, that's a weird shot. After he goes, hey, who doesn't love an obnoxious loud drunk? Let me jump ahead here. Okay, I want to go to where, for premiere of New York City, May 19th, 1998. Is this, Sarah, is this the popcorn scene where he goes nuts in the lobby?
It could be. I haven't watched this in a while.
Again, think of Bill Murray when you watch this. See that, Lauren Marie, if you're watching? That's Dean Corso, Ninth Gate Depp. That's the look he had to have for Ninth Gate. This is the year Ninth Gate was filmed. He is now with Vanessa. See the little mustache? I like, this is Tony. This is what I think Tony Stark Depp would look like if he played Iron Man.
Here, Johnny. Color Lily. It's an old tradition. Color Lily.
See that?
Thank you.
There's Tony Stark. That could easily be. So that's Dean Corso in the Ninth Gate. That's what he's going for. The book.
So wait here and I'll see that you're vomiting.
No, I don't put on an X for.
Nice and close together. Nice and close together.
Oh, that's it. This is what Bill Murray does. Look at this popcorn. Look at this.
So what am I saying?
This is a madman.
I'm assuming right after this, we get a copyright for this.
We're at the Viper Room.
I know, but
Let's
fast
go
forward
to-
through this song.
Okay, this is now reading. So now Thompson has Depp reading his book, and they have a guy bounced out of the Viper Room who's heckling him, which I don't know if this is staged. This is Mad Man Hunter. This is what I kind of want to go to too.
What
So
I
this
was
is
going
John Cusack. I'm going to lower the volume here. This is John Cusack and Depp in a convertible with Thompson, and they pull up, and Thompson decides to molest a blow-up doll in the street, right in the sun. This is David's stomping grounds. As we come up, there's a blow-up doll in the back. Cusack is in the Depp's driving. John Cusack is in the back from Chicago. Bill Murray's their friends too. Sold out at the Viper Room, surprisingly. This is where David was. He throws a blow-up doll in front of a poor guy trying to pull out. This is a madman. And this is what Bill Murray does all day long. Right? I mean, do you get in trouble for that? No, it's Thompson. So here we are in the Viper Room, and he's going to read Depp's own comb. Thank you. Good to see you, Rodney. Hollywood shrinkage. Thompson had a 2-inch on Letterman, 6'2" on Letterman. Depp could be about 5'10". Worse than Harry Potter playing 5'11". Weird. Hollywood shrinkage. Oh, you ever see that, Sarah? At Spencer's Gifts? The drink with the...
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, I like that. It's a waste of ice. Hunter S. Thompson, the only guy who likes ice as much as I do.
The film Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas with WINO Films, except there's a few problems. There's no script, there's no director, and there's no talent. And you're set to shoot January 29th, I hear. Is that true?
I believe that's true. But I think you have accurate information. And so what? I didn't mean to get off on this kind of start.
You want to light him on fire? Not answering the question.
No, none of that's true, but you're going up. It's not because of what you ask, it's not because of any elegance or articulation that you have. It's because you seem like a lawyer with a grudge.
Do you hear Bill Murray's voice in him, too? The way Thompson speaks, that cadence and the kind of... There's a lot of Murray in that. Right? Do you feel it? Do you hear it?
No, more physical actions. I see it in.
I hear it in the voice, too. I mean, it truly does.
Right? I think so, yeah. All right. I want to hear him scream. It's just that you...
Look at this. The Cleveland Brown, Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney are bouncing at the Viper Room. They have this guy bounced out. That's no reason to kick someone. I disagree. I am disappointed in them. That is
I'll say the same thing.
weird.
I'll say what I said the first time we played this. It looks like a setup.
Sarah thinks it's fixed.
Mm-hmm.
That they're capitulating to. By the way, look at the bottom right. Is that Melrose Larry Green? You ever see Melrose and what he looks like?
Yes, I don't know. I can't tell.
I wonder. And this guy's kicked out. It's just
I doubt it.
There's no grounds for it. He's asking a legitimate question, and he's accurate. He's not being. I mean, it's kind of a dickish thing, but you're gonna kick him out for that, and you think it's fixed, huh?
I think Thompson thinks that's comedy.
Yeah, it could be.
Well, this is the letter. When I was arrested,
There's John Cusack.
It was last year. It was a bungling.
We're gonna wrap up soon, Sarah. I was gonna.
They were trying to.
Right after this.
Last week on election night. Which they did, but they were about 3 hours late when we won the election that day. Same reason. Indian reservations.
5 years later, 6? Seems like a lifetime. Or at least the main era.
Depp's chomping on that Nicorette gum, like Tom Hansen in season 2. Doesn't really go with reading, does it, Sarah?
No, well, he had to get through 5 minutes without a stick in his mouth.
These are all his friends here. What are you nervous about?
The kind of peak that never comes again. San Francisco in the middle 60s was a very special time and place to be a part of.
Yeah, the casting.
Maybe it meant something.
Dorian Morgan's right.
Maybe not in the long run.
Rodney, thank you, sir. The literary
It's hard to know because of all the
G.G. Allen.
But even without being sure of history, it seems entirely reasonable to think that every now and then the energy of a whole generation comes to a head in a long, fine flash for reasons that nobody really understands at the time, and which never explain in retrospect what actually happened.
Cranky Sarah's here.
To his madness in any direction at any hour. If not across the bay, then up the Golden Gate or down 101 to Los Altos.
Crazy Robin thinks it's real. I can't tell. I don't know. I'm on the middle. I don't know.
You could strike sparks anywhere.
I'd love to ask someone who was there. Maybe Richie Albertini.
There was a fantastic universal sense that whatever we were doing was right. That we were winning.
Got his approval. That's all he wants.
Mhm.
Sarah, do you have low blood sugar?
No.
Viper Room legit looks like a dump. I could smell the vinegar, piss, and vomit. So much heroin, Rodney. So this is a clip I found. This is Depp, and I know it's him because I've paused it a zillion times to look at his face, and I know his face, and I know his movements. This is the weirdest thing ever. Depp playing basketball as Jack Sparrow with his friends, Jack's friend, at a park. And I can't. This must be like I don't know when this is, and maybe it's just just doing a favor for his son.
Wait a second here, Captain Jack and who? Whoa! All right, 101, check it out. Wait a second here. All right. Whoa!
That's him.
I don't think that's him.
That's him. Look at the face. That stop. Look at.
Do you know how many Jack Sparrow
No, but look at the face. That's
impersonators
him.
there are?
No, I know. I could tell by the basketball is perfect because he was a Globetrotter guy, and he could. That's Globetrotter shit, but he can't really play.
Wait a second here, Captain Jack.
I don't think
That's
the
him.
voice sounds like him at all.
Now.
Whoa!
That's his face. That's him. The air ball is him.
I don't think that's Jack.
You ever said, do you smoke?
Whoa!
That's him.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
You see that? That's Globetrotter shit. He can spin. He can do this. I remember him talking about this. He can do the Globetrotter move. Let's just say it's him. Okay, I want to end this with. Okay, I want to urge everybody to vote on Tuesday.
Ugh.
But more importantly, I really don't care as much as my friend Emily Stern does. And this is what she urges us to do. I Vote Blue, a poem by Emily Stern. Roses are red, violets are blue. Violence is red, rubies are red. Your eyes are blue. The sky is blue. I am red. I bled on my sheets and through my
disgusting.
jeans, making puddles on the seat. I
I'm
bled
sorry, everyone.
in his bed. I bled on the white couch, and I stained it red. The police wear blue, and her bedroom, because we assumed she was a boy, was blue. In a moment of division and world-changing decisions, I vote for pink ribbons that herald scientific advances, for the brightest pink Planned Parenthood sign, for rainbow flags, and for black lives, for the environment and the green design, for schools to teach many hues of truth. I vote blue, but most importantly, to you, Zoo, za, zoo. Thank you, Emily Stern. I couldn't have said it better.
Boy,
And
if there
thank
was
you
any reason not to vote blue, she just laid it out.
for everyone that doesn't know. That's Emily Stern's real poem on her real Instagram.
It's
And
nice
Mr.
to know
Feeney.
she's a free bleeder. I'm gonna throw up now.
You're the one who pushed the video on me.
What are you talking about?
Did you not say? Did you see the Emily Stern poem?
I didn't say to post it. That is so disgusting.
Ah, you love it. You love every bit of it. I want to thank everybody in the chat. I love you all.
Thank you
I
so
need.
much.
Appy says I need. We're gonna need new sheets.
Well, she gets new sheets every day. Probably she can with her allowance. Thank you everybody for your generosity tonight. It was greatly appreciated as always. I'm going to go pass out now.
We are going to. Oh God, we need you tomorrow night for the 21 Jump Street Part 2 of the pilot. Rodney, you're more than welcome to sit in a future. I know you know that show as well as anybody. Would love to have you. This is Arm for Sarah saying, no time is a good time for goodbye. C'est la vie, that's just the way it goes. That's life. Oh, yeah.